exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
Today's federal budget will predict a budget surplus of $9.3 billion for this financial year. This is the first time in 2 decades where the Australian economy has posted back-to-back surpluses. The result has mainly been driven by strong mining exports and income tax receipts due to low unemployment. But the budget is also forecasting the economy to weaken, impacting the bottom line until at least 2027. Meantime, South Australian Treasurer Stephen Mulligan details what he'll be looking for in the financial blueprint.
We'll be watching very closely what their economic forecasts are for the next 4 years and what we think that will mean for the state's economy, but also revenues to both levels of government.
A South Australian father is facing life in a Balinese prison after police upgraded a drug possession accusation to drug trafficking. Troy Smith was taken into custody 2 weeks ago for allegedly possessing 3 grams of methamphetamine mailed in from Cairns. Local police say they fired a gun into the air as he tried to escape arrest. No formal charges have been laid. The Premier will fly out to the US today. Mel Usher has more.
The visit stateside will focus on defence jobs and new submarines. Over the next 10 days, Peter Malinauskas will meet with government and defence industry leaders, as well as visiting nuclear submarine shipyards in the wake of the AUKUS deal. Maryland, Virginia and Connecticut are on the itinerary. The Premier says his trip is about maximising every opportunity and forging even stronger ties with the United States. It will be his 5th overseas trip since winning office just over 2 years ago.
The introduction of cameras to detect drivers using mobile phones may be delayed following secret trials last year. A trial evaluation summary reveals inconsistencies with the results citing poor image quality issues. SAPOL says concerns of false detection will be addressed as testing of the system continues. Police have busted 3 women allegedly taking a huge amount of alcohol from South Australia into the Northern Territory. The trio, aged 28, 35 and 55, were found with almost 400 litres of cask wine, 23 litres of spirits and several pre-mixed drinks. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. The AFL will release its fixture for rounds 16 to 23 today, with Thursday night games set to be replaced by twilight Saturday matches. Meantime, the Crows are set to be without defender Josh Worrell for up to 3 months after he required surgery on a broken forearm. Port, meantime, is hoping to regain several players for this Sunday's clash against Hawthorn, including ruckman Jordan Sweet, winger Jace Burgoyne and even potentially the captain Connor Rozee. Well, the AFL's new umpiring boss, Stephen McBurney, and the umpires coach, Michael Jennings, have met with Geelong coach Chris Scott. Scott took issue with holding the ball decisions in the Cats' loss to the Power. Football boss Laura Kane telling the AFL website the league has clear dialogue with clubs.
And make sure that we are on the same page moving forward and reconnect interpretations of various things, some from the game, some just generally.
To soccer, and Liverpool's well on top in its EPL clash against Aston Villa this morning. The Reds led 2-1 at half-time before adding another goal early in the second half.
Elliott, who takes and Quansah scores! Great start. It took a bit longer this time for Liverpool to make a breakthrough after a restart.
Audio there thanks to Optus. There's now about 20 minutes to play in that game. They lead 3-1. And the Junior Matildas have bowed out of the Under-17s Asia Cup without a win after going down to Thailand 3-1. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
And now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Partly cloudy and 21 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy 21. Thursday, partly cloudy 22. Friday, sunny 21. Currently, it's 8. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Look, we weren't going to say anything, but here at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've had some great news. We've just been named National Dealer of the Year by Volkswagen. Again, 2 years running. We're so chuffed we're having a sale on new and demo stock. They're available for immediate delivery with easy finance options. And remember, convenient next-day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Now our great news is your great news. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's National Dealer of the Year sale. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Radio is all about great on-air duos, and now Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has joined in.
They've doubled down. This time there's 2 grand prize homes. That means 2 grand prize winners.
That's 2 Scott Salisbury homes in Henley Beach, both fully furnished, both including $100,000 cash.
It's too good not to celebrate, so from us two to the 2 grand prizes, enjoy this Tuesday, and don't forget to buy your tickets too at homelottery.com.au.
Southern Cross Care understands the significance of independence in retirement living by offering a little extra support wherever needed at Glen Woodley Estate.
Sounds fantastic. Enjoy fully serviced 1-bedroom apartments. They allow you to keep your independence while receiving extra support and your freedom. Enjoy the benefits of weekly apartment cleaning, a dedicated linen service, delicious meals, and for added peace of mind, a 24/7 emergency response system.
Located in leafy Myrtlebank, Glen Woodley Estate is a welcoming and friendly community with an on-site community centre providing a range of activities to enjoy. Private and secure apartments are now selling. Visit southerncrosscare.com.au to arrange a private inspection today. Southern Cross Care, better for life.
Series Music is making history with Adelaide's biggest ever music sale. Well over $1 million worth of gear has been priced to clear. Get up to 60% off drums, up to 30% off electric guitars, bass guitars, amps and accessories, with discounts on keyboards, brass and woodwind PA systems and more. Series Music is so serious about clearing the entire store with over $1 million worth of gear priced to clear. In store only right now. This is a once only opportunity. Series Music, 41 McGill Road, Stepney.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast, the 14th of May. Phil Curry on the program today. Give you the most comprehensive and best pre-budget analysis you're going to hear anywhere in Australia today. So make sure you're listening to Phil on Budget Day after 7:30 today. We're going to talk about potential speed limit changes on Unley Road that will affect people there. There's some consultation going on at the moment. These ones are always highly emotive, this sort of issue, so we'll get into that a little bit later. Trial by jury's coming up. We'll get you across all the big developments right around Adelaide, Australia and the world. And, of course, we love talking to you. 8223 or text us on the Duttons text line. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I wonder if anyone has received a fine from SAPOL for using their mobile phone and has woken up this morning to read the paper or indeed watch your TV news service last night, Will, and
find out they're a bit stodge.
Checking out...
Well, no one's received a fine yet because they're still...
Oh, it's still in the testing stage?
Yeah, they're still in the testing stage.
I thought that it had actually happened because people had been wrongly fined.
No, this has happened when there was an FOI done.
It pays to read the entire story. I haven't made it past the first paragraph, but it is early.
There was an FOI done on the trials that were taking place in April, and the documents revealed some concerns about some of the accuracy. Now, SAPOL say it's only a small number, but the problem is you only need a small number of false positives. So now every single fine, and they're projecting tens of thousands of these, will have to be individually reviewed by someone. So much for the automation component of this. A police officer's going to have to sit there and go, okay, that was the fine. It says this person had it. Let me have a look at that picture. Yeah, are they touching their phone? Yeah, they are. Now they're going to have to do that 10,000 times.
10,000?
Well, how many ever thousands? Every single time someone gets fined now, it needs to be independently reviewed.
And they're 200 police short, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, no, but Dan Cregan said yesterday it wouldn't be a frontline police officer who does this. Presumably they've got other people sitting around just waiting for work to happen. You know, there's the guy in the office who's been,
See, I thought that the fines had already started, because a mate of mine got one, but now that you've said this, I realise he actually lives in Canberra. So they've got them in the eastern states up and running.
So we're not even in so we're still in the trial period of this. We're not even in there's a period where you're going to get the grace period. until June 19, so we've got a couple more weeks yet. What's that, just under 4 weeks? Just over 4 weeks. These are great. You'll get sent a letter saying, hey, you've been detected. Sharpen up, buddy. Then by September 19, fines will start getting sent out. And they'll be in the order of a $540 fine, then a $99 victim of crime levy.
See, it feels like it's the type of dubious, sort of low-level doubt that defence lawyers thrive on.
Oh.
Particularly you sort of, I've already put toner in the photocopier. You suburban Dennis Tenuto's, get you off speeding fines, no win, no fee. I guess, Better call Saul.
That's right. Oh, yeah, someone's going to get rich quick. But I suppose the only thing is, there will be a photo. Like, it's a short court case, I reckon, if you're going to challenge it or not.
Yeah, but if all you just need a bit of reasonable doubt, don't you?
Yeah, I was actually reaching for the aircon.
Yeah.
Mind you, the photos, to be fair, and they needed to iron this out beforehand because it just makes people doubt the system, and that's dangerous. But the photos are pretty clear.
Yeah.
The demonstration photos they've shown, it's not remember back in the day when the video review first came into cricket? It's at the third umpire, and every time there was a run out, the bat and the bails being broken would always be on frames that meant you couldn't actually tell whether the bat was in or not. It happened all the time because the technology just wasn't enough frames per second. So they'd roll it forward one frame and he'd be in, but the bails had been out for what looked like 3 minutes.
And then the next one would be 6 inches further down the.
That's right,
down the pitch.
It's not these photos don't look like that. It's pretty decent technology.
Yeah, so it's not like some bitmapped image.
No, it's not all pixels. I reckon that's probably a phone, and that's But,
who did the FOI? Is that been made? Was it a media FOI?
That I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not asking you guys to reveal your sources, Will, and it all started on Channel 7.
Often it's media, but a lot of times too. That's
oppositions.
What oppositions do, or
other organisations. Have you ever put in an FOI?
I've not written. Well, I've been involved in putting in an FOI. Yeah,
in politics or in journalism?
Yeah, when in politics.
Yeah, right.
In politics, there was it's ridiculous how many FOIs get put on a daily basis. You got to pay for them. That's the only thing. You can't, because they do cost time, someone's time. So
they cost a stack of money sometimes, depending on what you're after.
That's right.
I never did one as a journo, but we had some people. Like most newspapers have got people who are absolute guns at it who just read stories, and they're really handy people to have because they sort of go, okay. Like let's talk about, I don't know, that story years ago about that Spiv, who was the CEO of the Onkaparinga Council and spent most of his time knocking around at that golf course. I don't mean Spiv, that was a very judgmental term, I withdraw unreservedly. So an enterprising journo who knows how the Freedom of Information system works goes, let's see, I'll do an FOI of every council in Australia for golf memberships for their CEOs. And then you find out that you got
That's
7 or something like that. Something like that. But it's always a fishing expedition.
Well, there's certain politicians that are just addicted to the process, and they'll come in, with a stack of papers and we're going to FOI every email sent between these dates that mentions the term "live golf," or we want any correspondence between politicians in relation to and there'll be some sort
Premier's hospitality.
Premier's hospitality.
Who was invited by the Premier's department to the live golf tournament?
And sometimes you think you've got an absolute ripper, and 6 months later the thing comes back and it says, "No documents captured." Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Or there's one and it's all blacked out.
Here's a good question. Was it ever illegal to use a street directory while driving?
That would fall under the realm of sort of driver distraction, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but can you remember having the Godfreys on, on the steering wheel? Sort of looking around going, oh.
Yeah, or sitting on your lap.
Yeah,
it's pretty distracting.
It's a lost art, isn't it? And do you? Here's a question: how many marriages are going to be saved by the fact that now you can use your Apple CarPlay, whatever it's called, to have a map on the screen, as opposed to, no, look, It's not map 64, it's map 66. Turn the page. We're still on South Road. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Oh my goodness! You know,
I reckon every couple has had a huge humdinger argument involving maps.
My wife and I have the fight, and I suspect this possibly goes the other way, gender divide-wise, with so many things in our relationship for most people. But I love using a GPS. I just love technology stuff. I just like having it on.
Yeah, maps are good. I love the maps app on the phone.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it on the dashboard. I enjoy it on the screen. Whatever car you're driving these days that have them in there. My wife thinks her road knowledge is like someone who's been driving cabs in Adelaide for 55 years. So she'll go, we don't need that.
Does she talk in a sort of Brooklyn accent as well?
She'll go,
hey, stop busting my chops.
We don't need that. What do you mean?
My
We've never been to this place before. And she said, well, no, I know where it is. And we'll end up driving around. She'll contest every component of this story, by the way, and say, "Oh, we'll get us there and then."
Don't do the voice.
Can we just put the GPS on? You don't need that. How hard is it? It's going to be off South Road somewhere. Okay, cool. Dave in South Brighton's called in. Morning to you, Dave.
Morning, guys.
He's really done it now.
I think I'm married to the same woman, actually. But that's not what I'm rang about.
Utah?
My son up in Queensland got one of the fines through the mail, driving had the phone on his leg as he was driving along. The fine in Queensland is $1,161.
Wow. Ooh.
And 4 demerit points. And if he does the same offence within the next 12 months, it's double demerit points, which would take you up to 12 points, which you would lose your license for 3 months.
So if you're guaranteed to lose your license second offence?
Well, yeah, because you've lost four points, which he has no other points. So that's the only points he's ever accumulated. But yeah, if you're caught again within 12 months, it's double the demerits, which would be 8 points. So 8 and 4 is 12. So you lose your life.
Wow, that's tough.
Staggering, isn't it? That's a much heftier fine than you get for running down police in your car. What about that story?
What, the suspended 1 month jail sentence?
What the hell is going on with that? We'll climb into that later.
Yeah,
that is just sick, that sentence.
17 after 6. Imagine being the family sitting there listening to that. We're going to have a quick break. News headlines coming up next.
When you want a retractable door screen, you want uninterrupted views and natural ventilation combined with protection from insects. You want Phantom Screens. Our custom-made retractable door screens can be colour matched to your existing decor and span up to 7 metres wide. And they disappear out of sight when not in use. A screen that's there 1 minute, gone the next. From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, let the fresh air in with Phantom Screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
Come on in.
We open our doors to people we trust and care about. And for over 85 years, South Australians have been opening their doors to Rest Haven. In turn, we've been opening doors to an easier, better life at home. From personal care to help with the shopping and social outings, you'll welcome the care that Rest Haven brings.
It's all the little things that make a Murray Princess cruise unforgettable. It's watching the world go by. It's good old-fashioned hospitality. It's newfound friends. And it's dancing into the night. For a big adventure, full of the little things, book your 3, 4 or 7 night cruise on the majestic Murray Princess today at murrayprincess.com.au.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases. See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 6, Tom Wren in just a moment. Let's jump into the news headlines on this Tuesday morning. There was a serious crash at Parkside last night. Just before 9 p.m, a car collided with two pedestrians at the intersection of Unley Road and Greenhill Road. One pedestrian suffered serious injuries. The other person suffered minor injuries. They were both taken to hospital. The driver is assisting police with their inquiries. Interestingly, we're going to be talking about Unley Road and its speed limit, potential changes after 8 o'clock this morning.
I reckon they should put the speed limit on Unley Road down. I don't think it should be 60, it should be 50.
It surprised me that it is 60.
It's ridiculous.
Most everything out that side of town is
I
40
reckon
or
most motorists who use Unley Road don't do 60 anyway. I reckon, and the ones who do, or worse, the ones who push it and do like 63, 64, there's always people turning right. There's always cars parked everywhere along the left.
Is it an outlier? I'm just trying to think. So you've got sort of
really
King William, obviously Goodwood down there.
King William's 50.
Are they all 50?
No, Goodwood's mainly 60, but the bit near the Goodwood shops is 50.
Doothy's 50, Lucy says.
Yeah, that's right. Doothy's 50. King William is 40, a lot of it. But then it's 50 up the top end.
It's paved too, which they've showed slows people down.
The comparison I would make is Prospect Road and Henley Beach Road, both of which are 50. So, like, all that bit along, you'd know Henley Beach Road like the back. Yeah, and the moment you get over South Road, heading west, it's 50 all the way down to...
Airport Road, pretty much, or almost.
Yeah, pretty much Airport Road.
Almost Airport Road.
Yeah.
Today's federal budget will predict a budget surplus of $9.3 billion for this financial year. This is the first time in 2 decades where the Australian economy has posted back-to-back surpluses. Not going to last, though. The result has mainly been driven by strong mining exports and income tax receipts due to low unemployment. The budget forecasting the economy to weaken, impacting the bottom line until at least 2027.
Have you seen those ads that have started on TV for taxcuts.gov.org? It just tells you what your tax code is.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it.
But it's just the most hugely political ad you've ever seen. For every level. Tax cuts for all.
Community service.
Do you actually need that, do you? Do you need an ad to tell you to look at a website to find out whether you're getting a tax cut or not?
You shouldn't. Well, considering you're legally obligated to fill out a tax return every year.
I wonder if Jim Chalmers is going to pay for live reads on 5AA. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, our listeners need to know.
Hey, Will, everyone likes a tax cut, don't they? That's right, Dave. And boy, are there some exciting tax cuts on the horizon. Not just for you, but for all Australians.
Well, they're not going to pay for one if we do it like that. You're going to give it a bit of oomph, bit of gusto.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, everybody likes a tax.
There, now you're talking. There you go.
Oh, check out tax. Give me a tax cut.
And boy, oh boy,
who paid for this stupid ad.gov.au.
Has Jim delivered this time?
He's done it again.
See, we do that
done
for
it
you.
Again.
We'll do that for you. Department of Treasury.
Yeah, we probably would, actually. The sales reps would say it's a done deal. God bless them.
That's their job, I guess.
It is.
Shop owners at Westfield.
It's the whole raison d'etre, as Luce would say.
It is. Shop owners at Westfield Bondi Junction say the community's still traumatised a month on from the attack that killed 6 people, a dozen more injured. Bill Mahana owns a hairdressing salon and says even just going to work is difficult.
Every day I'm there. Every day there's triggers. Every day I hear something, I see something, and it just comes all back to me. So it's very hard to move forward, especially when you work in, customer sits down and asks you what it's like again. So then you relive the whole thing.
Poor bloke. Poor everyone who works here. I just think the lack of any real meaty, major response to this. I wrote my column about it on Sunday. It's just, the Plimpton real estate agent, the baby getting punched in the face at Mawson Lakes the week before last. Like, seriously unwell people getting zero assistance, all left on them to look after themselves in the community. And I think there's, and it's on Albo really. I mean, this needed the John Howard style post Port Arthur response, and we got an orgy of platitudes about the heroism of Australia. We know that. We saw the copper on TV. Where's the policy response? Where's the? We cannot let these people, these poor wretched people, who are grappling unsuccessfully with the worst types of mental illness. We cannot let them be left on their own without care, because it's bad for them, it's bad for other people who come into contact with them. And meanwhile, we're, whatting billions and billions of dollars up the wall on an NDIS, which among other things means that pampered middle-class children with vague handwriting difficulties can get put on an NDIS plan.
Well, the NDIS, big reason why this budget surplus is going to be swiftly disappearing over the out years of the budget, because the NDIS is just a monster that's out of control. Just want to round out the news headlines by wishing all the best to Frank Pangallo, who revealed yesterday that he's battling prostate cancer. Got the news in December, and he's been undergoing intensive radiation treatments. All the best to you, Frank.
Yeah.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for Parliament with people getting cancer diagnoses, with Michelle Lensink as well.
Yeah, no, Michelle Lensink is got her own battles, and now Frank, and we wish, as we did with Michelle, we wish Frank all the best. He's a cracking guy.
Cool start out there this morning, 7.9 degrees. I don't remember it being that cool for a while.
No.
7.9, mind you, Canberra is coming into its own. 1.2 degrees in Canberra as we speak this morning. Everywhere else is in the teens just about. So 7.9 here in Adelaide, heading for a top of 21 today and partly cloudy. The exact same tomorrow, 22 partly cloudy on Thursday, 21 and sunny Friday, 18 and an overnight low of 8 on Saturday. That's going to be a cool 24-hour period. 19 the top on Sunday, 18 the top on Monday. So the trend suggests that we're just dropping away from some of those maximums with a 2 in front of them into the teens. The other trend that's has no change, again, no rain on the forecast. Tom Wren in the 5AA Breakfast Studio with us. Experienced the 2024 New Gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Reddy.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Touch of Hollywood over in the EPL. I've been watching this morning. Tom Hanks is in the stadium watching the Aston Villa and Liverpool game, and I'll tell you what, it's a Hollywood-type drama. Liverpool leading 3-1, cruising to victory, and Aston Villa have just scored 2 in 4 minutes.
Wow.
This was the third one, and Tom Hanks and everyone, absolute bedlam inside the stadium at the moment.
Durant! It's 3-3 in the most extraordinary fashion.
So still a couple of minutes to play there. I'll keep you updated perhaps as we are just about to finish up the cross. So that's been an amazing game. That one, not the result Tottenham want. They want Aston Villa to lose, so there's still then half a chance of, getting fourth place. They still would be even if they drew, but it's much better if they actually lose the game. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Also, I was interested in this audio. What do you think of the options? There's no secret of the fact that Andrew Dillon, I think, they're obviously working on this 19th team with Tasmania, but they want a 20th side. These are some of the options he put forward when he was asked about it yesterday.
Our focus at AFL House is fairly and squarely on the 19th team, but it's a great debate again for the 20th team. We've got interest from the NT, there's interest from North Queensland. People have been talking about third teams out of WA, Canberra, so it's great that there's interest.
They clearly want to, position it and, get it out there. What do people want? Where should we go? I mean, obviously, it all comes down to economics as well.
Is there a danger that the talent pool is going to be spread too thin and that there's going to be too many fixtures happening that nobody cares about?
I think so. Well, I mean, already with...
Are you going to watch Darwin v North Melbourne?
I was about to say, with North Melbourne, they're almost becoming irrelevant, aren't they? But they prop them up because... Say,
Tom. We got one listener who gets very upset if you suggest that they should be maybe wound up
due
to lack of interest.
I mean, the thing is, though, the broadcast deal is just worth too much to them. So even if that club loses, they make more on the
broadcast. Apparently, one of our mates, our boss, was telling us this yesterday. Apparently, the West Coast Eagles generate more revenue from their waiting list for new members than North Melbourne does from its actual members.
Is that right?
So the list to become a West Coast Eagles member and the holding fee that those people pay hoping to become a supporter of the Eagles, that generates more money for West Coast than North Melbourne.
Which stands to reason why the West Coast have been an absolute basket. They're looking better, though, now, it must be said.
I hope the 20th team's... I'm sick of this AFL frontiersmanship. I don't want another team that's about blazing trails. Can we just have one where people actually like footy?
Yeah.
Well, then let's just get rid of the Gold Coast Suns, for starters.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, okay.
And go
How many tears would be shed? Quinton, let's remember Quinton, who texts us in, he's a big fan. But look, to have Gold Coast and GWS as your sort of frontier towns kind of teams, go for it. You go to your heart's content. But if you can do another one, let's not do another experiment. Selfish.
New Zealand.
Yeah, I think NT deserves it, Rennie. But selfishly, I hate watching games in Darwin.
Yeah, when it gets all slippery. And
it's like every game's a wet day, a wet game. But I think as a jurisdiction, football-loving people, they deserve it.
Yeah, play it during the day though.
Yep.
You know, play them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Although it's probably going to be 40 degrees or something.
Yeah, there are some logistical issues with regard to it, but hopefully. Stuff.
Anyway, still 3-3 in that game. It's in the 99th minute, so I'll have the update in the news.
All right.
Did Tom Hanks say, he shoots, he scores, when the ball went in?
Like Wilson!
He's actually fallen in love with the ball.
It's the wrong ball, mate. That's volleyball.
Good on you, Reddy.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Strong mining exports and relatively low unemployment will help the Albanese government post its second budget surplus. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will hand down his third budget later tonight, where he'll announce a $9.3 billion surplus for this financial year. It's the first time in 2 decades where the nation has had back-to-back surpluses. Strong iron ore, coal and gas exports, along with income tax collection, has mainly driven the result. But the budget papers will show the economy's entering a more challenging period, and it could take until mid-2027 for Australia's financial position to improve again.
Shadow South Australian Infrastructure Minister Vincent Tarzia wants to see more funding for regional roads.
There are key congestion-busting, job-creating, economic-stimulating projects that need to happen right here, right now in South Australia.
The Premier is headed stateside today. On his first official trip to the US, Peter Malinauskas will meet with government and defence industry leaders, as well as visit nuclear submarine shipyards in the wake of the AUKUS deal. He says the 10-day visit is about maximising every opportunity and forging even stronger ties with the United States. Australian researchers will play a major role in an international study aimed at combating problematic internet use among young people. The study will recruit 10,000 teenagers and use AI to monitor their internets to determine safe limits and address mental health issues caused by too much time online. Lead researcher on the project, Professor Murat Yücel, says researchers are partnering with the youth participants.
In order to, one, respect their privacy, but also collect a large body of data from them safely, and hopefully all of which will lead to useful educational material, assessment tools, diagnostic tools, clinical tools.
A third boat of asylum seekers has been intercepted near far northwestern Australia, less than 24 hours after a vessel carrying 33 people was discovered by border officials. 4 Vietnamese nationals were believed to be on board the most recent arrival, with Border Force officials cutting them off near the Broome coast. Donald Trump's former lawyer has taken to the stand as the star prosecution witness in the former president's hush money trial in New York. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Michael Cohen was the one-time fixer for Donald Trump. Today he is in the stand testifying against his former boss about a hush money payment made to former adult film star Stormy Daniels, who claimed to have had a sexual encounter with Donald Trump back in 2006. Michael Cohen testified when concerns were raised about the story becoming public in the lead-up to the 2016 presidential election. Donald Trump was more concerned about the impact on the campaign. Michael Cohen told the jury he asked Donald Trump about wife Melania at the time of the Stormy Daniels story, and says he responded, "Don't worry, how long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long." Michael Cohen's testimony continues.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start with footy. Adelaide is set to be without defender Josh Worrell for up to 3 months as he recovers from a broken forearm. The 23-year-old had surgery yesterday and is recovering in hospital. And teammate Lockie Scholl told Rowie and Timmy G it's disappointing to see him out for so long.
Shattering news for Woz. He's having such a great year, and to
see him go down is obviously disheartening, but obviously at the same time as well, that opens up opportunity.
The Crows will take on Collingwood on Saturday at the MCG. Meantime, Port Adelaide is a chance to regain several stars for Sunday's match against Hawthorn at home, with captain Connor Rosie among those who's a chance to come back. Let's get to soccer, and it's been a thrilling finish in the match between Aston Villa and Liverpool in the English Premier League this morning. The Reds led 3-1 until deep in the second half when the home side struck twice in 4 minutes.
Durant! It's 3-3 in the most extraordinary fashion.
Yeah, the match finishing at 3-3 and making things even more dramatic. Hollywood star Tom Hanks was on hand to watch it. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And that's show business. Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Partly cloudy 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 21, Thursday partly cloudy 22, then Friday sunny and 21. Right now it's 8. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
"24 minutes to 7. I'm going to read you out all the years in Adelaide's history, since we've been recording this, that we've had no rain in the first 2 weeks of May, courtesy of our statsman Ben Jordan. 1867, 1868, 1972, so we almost went 100 years there without with the rain in the first 2 weeks of May. 1976, 2024. Every year since 1839 that we've had the first 2 weeks of May with zero rain. The last time we had any registered rain was the 20th of April, 0.2 mils. Usually we'd get 61 for May. For example, last year we got 72, year before that 86, year before that 38, 0.0 after 2 weeks, and the next week the forecast says 0 again. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the past 100, nearly 170 odd years.
Yeah, almost 2 centuries.
It's just outrageous what's happening at the moment.
It's crazy.
We're not talking enough about how dry it is.
Yeah.
I think largely because everything looks pretty good because of how wet the summer was. But what we're seeing in 2024 at the moment is a total anomaly.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know about the rest of you. Our house, I spend so much time sweeping up because the grass is so dry out the back and the boys play soccer all the time out in the backyard that everything's all churned up. Like, I've just given up on the lawn. I think I'm going to have a nice lawn in about 12 years when they've all grown out of playing soccer. And, like, you don't begrudge your kids playing sport. What do you want? Pristine lawn or fit and active kids? I'll take the latter, thank you. But the grass is so... Like, I literally have not mowed the lawn since... I don't think I've actually mowed it since January. It just hasn't grown. It's just sitting there in this sort of vegetative state. But all the grass is so dry that it keeps blowing into the house, and it's terrible.
What I have many of our listeners have any memories of 1976? Anyone got a 1976 memory for us?
September.
Yeah, not you. Any 1976 memories?
Went into the grand final with the entire state assuming that Port Adelaide would win.
We got a $100 Uggs to you voucher. What does 1976 mean to you? It's the last time we've had a May that started with 2 weeks of no rain for the month. So
other than the SANFL Grand Final.
Other than the SANFL Grand Final. Does 1976 mean anything to anyone listening right now? Give us a call if it does. Any memories that it jogs, any dates that are significant, 8223 Text us on the Duttons text line. We'll give you a $100 Uggs to you voucher.
Someone, I reckon, will have people who got married in 1976, had their first child in 1976.
Right. People were born in 1976. All sorts. Speaking of on this days, this very, very famous person in the history of entertainment, George Lucas, turns 80 today.
You know, I made the decision to sell the company, the Star Wars. I made that decision because I looked at the future, I looked at the fact that I was going to have a baby, I looked at the fact that I was married, and I looked at the fact that I wanted to build a museum, and I looked at the fact that I wanted to make experimental films. So my life was going on a different track.
And looked at the fact they paid you hundreds of millions of dollars for it. That's George Lucas talking about selling Star Wars to Disney a number of years ago. Also on this day, big one for entertainment, Frank Sinatra passed away on this day in 1998, aged 82.
The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
26 years ago, Frank Sinatra died.
It's amazing, isn't it? He died not long after he'd been in Australia. He played a concert. I wonder if any of our listeners went. Some of them might have. You had to go to Queensland from memory to do it. He played at Sanctuary Cove, which was the big real estate development that was opened by another person who is late, Christopher Skase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Skase, who was loaded at the time, owner of Channel 7, wonder if your dad went, because your dad would have been reading the news at the time.
Be a big Frank Sinatra fan. If he's in the newsroom, he'd be listening. Sam Gatto ask him.
He would know people who went, and he'd certainly know the story. But it was a huge thing that Frank Sinatra got flown out to Australia to sing at the launch of Sanctuary Cove, which was Christopher Skase's big high-end property development in Queensland. Hang on.
Oh, hang on.
Here we go. He's coming in.
He's coming in.
The GG.
Memories of Frank Sinatra.
Am I right, Graham?
Sinatra.
Do you recall Frank Sinatra coming to Australia?
No, certainly.
Christopher Skase brought him out, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He actually did a performance at Sanctuary Cove.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, but he also performed here twice. I've seen him twice.
Oh, really? Where did you see him?
In Melbourne. The night that he talked about the hookers of the press.
Yeah, that's right. He called all the journos hookers.
Yeah, but it was a throwaway line. In print, you know how in print things can look very cold and harsh. It was a real throwaway line, but it did him a lot of harm because they were going to cancel his concerts and so forth. And
seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What? Because it was considered to be offensive language?
Yes. Yeah, it was Bob Hawke, I think. Bob Hawke took a strong stand about it, and I don't know how.
I mean, Hawke obviously never used any bad language at all, so that would have been quite an affront to him.
I think he'd given up the drink at that stage.
Yeah, okay, right.
He had a different. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know how you got to talk about Sinatra, but I also saw him.
He died on this day, 26 years ago.
Is that right? Mm. I saw him perform with Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, really?
And Liza Minnelli in Sydney.
Wow.
It was going to be Liza Minnelli stepped in for Dean Martin, who was going to be performing, but his son was killed Dino was killed in a plane crash. He was a fighter pilot.
Oh, how terribly sad.
And crashed into the Californian mountains.
So was that Liza Minnelli at a peak when sort of Cabaret had come out?
Oh, yes.
Time? Yeah.
And it was beautiful because both of them, Sinatra's signature tune was New York, New York, and Liza Minnelli's signature tune was New York, New York.
Yeah.
So they virtually had a sing-off, and it was just amazing.
Such a belting voice.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Although,
so you couldn't. Well, you were working for Seven when Skase owned it, weren't you?
Yes, they were halcyon days, I can tell you.
You would have gone to a few decent Christmas parties.
The launch of the network was it was straight out of Hollywood. We were all flown up to Sanctuary Cove, and everyone from around the network, and there was a big launch. And John Farnham came on and sang a few songs for us. And his reward for that was that Skase gave him an apartment. It wasn't Sanctuary Cove. It was he had two resorts, one in Cairns and one on the Gold Coast. But anyway, is around the hotel.
Did you all have to wear white shoes to get in? Because that was the heady sort of halcyon days of the White Shoe Brigade.
No, that was the time that I was working with Sean Flannery.
Oh, Sean Flannery!
And that was he never read another news bulletin because he had an exchange with Christopher Skase's wife, Pixie.
Oh dear!
Didn't he do the
he made her an offer
limbo dance underneath her dress?
Well, let's say he made her an offer that she could very readily refuse. Yeah, Sean was an absolute legend.
He was the stepdad of one of my best friends in Sydney.
Yeah.
A brilliant journo called Kate DeBrito.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's a maniac.
Yeah, he was the real old-style journalist.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember he rang me on the phone because we had to wear dinner suits and we had this big presentation. And he said, I've cut myself shaving and what can I do? And as we're talking, he said, I've come up with an idea. I'll get some whiteout. and he called down to reception and got some white out. The only problem was his shirt was blue. So he had this big patch of white on his shirt, and all the news teams had to be presented, and there was drum roll and music fanfare, and we came out of darkness and smoke and so forth. But Sean stumbled at the top step and tumbled the remaining 3 down. Then we had to sort of make it look like that was part of the show, and then it degenerated from there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
They certainly are.
Start.
Does sound like the halcyon days. Well, thank you, Dave.
That's all right.
What a great time.
Walk down memory lane. We'd ask you about any memories of 1976. That's the last time we had 2 weeks that started May without any rain.
I have a recollection, and I've never seen this before. The afternoon, the newspaper, the headline in bold print said, "It's raining." And
really?
Yeah, it was sort of like war declared. It was
huge. 300 point.
Well, we might be heading for that again in 2024.
Wow,
Thanks for coming in.
That's all right.
Good on you, Graham.
Mark in Highbury's also.
Anytime.
Great memories.
Mark's called in. What's your memory of 1976, Mark?
Good morning. How you going?
Good, thanks, Mark.
Good. You're saying you can't talk about the SANFL Grand Final. Well, that was my second game of football. The first one was my first game was the Sturt versus Port earlier in the year, and Sturt got absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
But made up for it in the Grand Final, which was good.
I know which one you'd rather win.
Mark, I appreciate you called in and started out by saying, I know you said don't talk about the SNFL Grand Final, and then you did, which was excellent.
He was talking about the game earlier in the year.
That's true. It was just a different game of footy in that year. Shout out to Mr. Quick. Quentin says in 1976 I was in grade 4 with Mr. Quick. The year of the Montreal Olympics. Our whole year of learning was based on that with Mr. Q. Thank you. Now, 1976, says Louise, had extremely cold winter mornings. My mum bought extra warm jackets for me and my siblings to keep us warm. We went to visit our dad at the QEH after he had a heart attack in 1976. Kaz says, I can all remember looking from the front porch of our panorama house at the smoke signals in the air from the suburbs of all the leaves being burnt in the streets down below. I'm glad that was made illegal a few years later, though. Thank you.
They're the old backyard incinerator. There was an idea whose time has come.
Dave in Redwood Park's called into the program. Dave, you've seen something traffic-wise out there this morning?
Yeah, just on Grange Road heading into the city, just near after the Coles, and it looks like a car's gone into the shop, so it's down to one lane. And then 1976, I was in England, and we actually had an heat wave. We had 6 weeks over 28 degrees, and they put standpipes up, so we didn't have to use our taps and water. And everybody, so there you go.
Good on you, Dave. Thank you. It was also the year that cigarette and tobacco advertising was banned on Australian TV and radio, 1976. We spoke about the Montreal Olympics.
Really? Was it that early?
Yeah. Apple Computers was formed in 1976 by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in California. There was a massive earthquake in Guatemala. And, of course, it was a leap year, and the year started on a Thursday, 1976, the last time we've had this dry a start to May.
But wasn't it the Montreal Games that led to the formation of the Australian Institute of Sport because we did so badly? Didn't we win one bronze?
Yeah, one medal.
Was it a bronze or silver? But I think we won one medal.
Yeah, slim pickings.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic, police and weather in just a moment. For the biggest range of outdoor furniture indoors, visit the Outdoor Scene's new location, Wilton Avenue, Summerton Park.
Thanks, Will. And morning, David. At Flinders Park, car has gone into a building there, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road. Speed to 25, the lane out of action. Sluggish at the moment at Paradise, Lower North East Road near Darley Road, speeds at 40. And works continuing southward at Glandore, heading into the city. Got the bitumen up, road plates and nuisance, speeds at 40. Cameras below Red Eagle Farm and Anzac Highway, Glenelg North. Sign up to Engie Saver to get a great rate on your energy with your rate locked until July 2025. Search Engie to learn more about Engie Saver today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Emergencies are no time to be making tough choices.
Luckily, when it comes to the best emergency care, your choice is clear. Calvary Adelaide is South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary provides emergency care at any time with no time spared. You'll experience shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable modern facilities. Trust Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
Did you know that we have a little bit of the Netherlands right here in South Australia? If you're wondering where, it's at the Dutch Pantry at Clemzig. Like a little village where you'll find authentic Dutch products, fresh produce, daily baked cakes and biscuits, and a whole menu of delicious Dutch meals in their cafe for brekkie, brunch or lunch.
Now, we had quite the feast here at work last week, courtesy of the Dutch Pantry. Absolutely superb. Think of classics like croquettes, mini Dutch pancakes, Dutch pea soup, along with cones of Belgian fries topped with mayo, yum, and Biscoff milkshakes. And while you're at it, while you're there, take a leisurely stroll past the windmill, admire the tulips and the Delft Blue.
Experience the taste of Amsterdam right here in SA at the Dutch Pantry, located at 72 OG Road, Clemzig. Just look for the big windmill.
Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 7, 1 silver and 4 bronze, 1976. That was the low point of Australian Olympic achievement that led to the creation of the AIS. Let's head to the Weather Bureau because there's a record being made in May at the moment with regard to the total absence of rain we've been experiencing. Simon Timke is on duty there. Morning, Simon. And again, we're going to be a broken record, and it feels like for a while. Nothing new added to the back end of the forecast.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. No, that's exactly right. The dry spell continues, and yeah, the days are adding up now. I think the last time we had rainfall here, measurable rainfall here in Adelaide, was about the 20th of April. So it's certainly quite a few days now, and as we said, nothing in the next week or so either. So for today, there's a little bit of low cloud and perhaps some fog over the eastern slopes of the hills, maybe even a little bit of very patchy, shallow stuff over the northern suburbs, but not expecting it to last too long. A little bit of high cloud, thin high cloud pushing over the top too, probably not enough to stop the sunshine coming through during the day. Temperature-wise, a little bit chilly in parts to start off with. We had a minimum of 8.0 degrees here in the city. Northern suburbs a little bit colder, down to 5.8 at Parafield this morning. And for our maximum temperature today, expecting 21 degrees for the city, 21 as well for Elizabeth, 19 degrees for Mount Barker and Noarlunga, and 20 degrees for Glenelg, and the winds generally pretty light. And so not much change for the next few days. That high pressure ridge continues to dominate our weather. Maximum temperatures in the low 20s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 21 or 22, with winds generally in that sort of northeast to southeast quadrant. But things get a little bit cooler over the weekend, but remaining dry. 18 degrees the maximum for Saturday, 19 for Sunday, and 18 for Monday next week. So the dry spell continues, and a little bit cooler over the weekend and early next week.
All right, Simon, thank you for that. Got a nice message from Dave Lloyd, our Alberton correspondent, who says, all this talk about 1976 is great. No doubt the next bloody weather record is in 2007. Thank you, Dave. Let's head to
So it's not
Sapole.
going to rain for 119 days, Dave.
Senior Constable Kate Dawson joins us. Kate, there was a crash at Beverley this morning.
Yes, it was about 4:20 a.m. this morning. Emergency services were called to Grange Road after a black BMW sedan that had been travelling east somehow lost control, veered off the road and smashed into a building on the north side of the road. So witnesses reported seeing two men get out of the car and run for it, and they were last seen heading north on Main Road in Beverley. When Western Patrols arrived, they searched the area but were unable to locate these two men. But checks revealed the car was bearing false number plates. We are still making inquiries into whether the car was a stolen vehicle or not. So SES assisted in shoring up the building while the car was towed from the scene. We're just asking anybody who may have any information about that or saw two blokes running up Main Road in Beverley to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000.
Kate, also a young couple who rolled their car at Glenelg North.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy this one. So this was about 3:15 this morning. Emergency services were called to Tapley's Hill Road after a car that had been travelling south lost control, rolled, crashed through street signs and ended up on its side near the corner of Jervois Street. So thankfully the driver and passenger were able to climb out of the vehicle and neither of them suffered any injuries. However, when officers spoke to the couple, it was revealed that the driver had become distracted by driving that car by an ill-timed kiss from the passenger while she was trying to change the music. So this poor driver, 25-year-old woman, she's been reported, and her passenger, an 18-year-old man, he's been issued with an expiation notice for impeding the driver's ability to control the vehicle. So it's going to be quite an expensive date for him.
Wow.
And their car was also a write-off and towed from the scene. But yeah, a bit of a quirky, funny story. But yeah, these are poor people.
So it was the woman who was driving, and the 18-year-old boy man tried to.
Yeah, it sounds like she was driving and tried to change the music. So perhaps he thought she was leaning in for a kiss, and he went for it. And next minute, the car's rolled.
Wow! I tell you what,
did the earth move for you too?
There's sometimes it just goes wrong when you make a move and. Crikey, it doesn't often end up in the car getting rolled, though, does it? Well, that is outrageous. Also, Kate, just to round it out, a crash at Parkside last night at Unley Road. I presume no romance involved in this one.
No, not in this one. This was a lot more serious last night. It turned out to be not as serious, this morning. So it occurred about 9 p.m. last night. Emergency services were called to the intersection of Unley Road and Green Hill Road after a Mitsubishi that had been travelling west on Green Hill Road crashed into two pedestrians. So the two men, the pedestrians, are both 38, of one of Stirling North and one of No Fixed Place. They've been conveyed to hospital for treatment of very minor injuries. The driver of the car, 39-year-old Glenelg North man, was thankfully not injured, but he was taken to hospital for a sample of his blood. Green Hill Road was closed for about 2 hours while police cleared the scene. But thankfully not as serious as what we first thought. We're still asking for anybody who may have witnessed the crash who hasn't yet spoken to police to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000.
Good on you, Kate. Thank you. I'd love to hear from our listeners to see if anyone else has had a attempted romantic gesture that's gone as wrong as that.
Be careful what you wish for, Will. You might have to really use the dump button this morning.
I think that was...
Who's that poor bloke you dumped yesterday? Dean, wasn't it?
Was it Dean? Well, Dean...
Not allowed to say words that rhyme with other words.
I just... misheard what he said. It wasn't anything personal.
Major truck rollover on the southeastern freeway.
That's gone.
Yep. Get off the air.
Kathy in Christie's Beach, good morning.
All right, good morning, boys. 86, I come to Australia, but 10 years earlier, in 76, I decided to plant some grow some potatoes, right? But then we had the drought, so I ended up washing my potatoes with the bath water.
Oh, the potatoes in the bathwater, Kathy.
To water the place. I was growing some potatoes, right, and because of the drought and no rain and whatever, I used the bath water to water the potatoes in the garden.
That's probably not such a bad idea, Kathy, because you can use grey water these days when you get that purple-coloured pipe. You can use that for irrigation purposes. Depends how many times if you had the bath water being used, I guess. But very enterprising. A lot of people who grew up in the Depression would go, we used to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kathy. Let's go to Payne. And Michael, good morning.
Yeah, how you going, boys?
Good, thanks, Michael.
Yeah, I used to be a farmer in mid-north, and in 1972, a very dry year, my son was born on the 21st of June 1972, and we hadn't had any rain until that night, hadn't done any seeding, and that was a real dry year in 1972.
Yeah, it was. So just 1976 is the most recent year we've had the first fortnight of May without rain. The next closest was 1972, and before that you have to go back nearly 100 years, well, no, more than 100 years earlier, 1868 before it. So 72 and 76 dry years in quick succession, like 1867 and 1868 were. But I mean, that's the fifth time it's ever happened is right now. So
we just heard from Kathy in Christie's. What about Nicola in Christie's on the Duttons text line? She says, in 1976 we immigrated from London. I was 1. We moved to Christie's Beach because Dad wanted to be close to the beach and away from the city. We've since moved, but I have many fond childhood memories down the beach and what we thought was paradise compared to London. It would feel like paradise.
Yeah, it would. We'd be warm, you've got the ocean there, it'd be magic. Julie in Hyde Park, good morning.
Good morning. My experience from 1976 was we got transferred to Canberra. My husband was in the public service. I registered for a job, fell pregnant. They rang me. Oh, sorry, I can't take up the job. I'm pregnant. They said, when's the baby due? And I told them July, whenever. And they said, oh, no, that's fine. You're 6 weeks, 2 days before your due date. You can go on 2 days sick leave. Then I went on 6 months maternity leave, half pay. I hadn't even stepped a foot in a job. Then I went back to work after being home for 10 months on maternity leave.
Oh, wow. Gee, well, you were very highly qualified, Julie, or something. They
No.
really liked you because they really
No.
wanted you to have the job.
Hadn't even met me.
Hadn't they? Oh,
No,
well,
I
very
hadn't
generous
stepped
then,
foot in
weren't
the
they?
job. 2 days sick leave and I'd never worked a day in the public service.
That's excellent.
That is amazing. Oh, well. The Australia's one person, at least one person larger because of the decision of the public service.
Maybe the word came from the very top. Malcolm Fraser really wanted Julie.
Well, that's certainly
You
one
just got in.
explanation. I'm struggling to think of another one. That's very intriguing, that story. Thank you, Julie. 5AA News is coming up. We have our news wrap coming up in just a moment.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
A $9 billion surplus is being forecast for this financial year as the Albanese government prepares to hand down its third budget. Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
The Australian economy is on track to deliver back-to-back surpluses for the first time in 2 decades. The budget will forecast a $9.3 billion surplus this financial year, but it's down on last year's $22 billion result. Most of the money has been raised from strong mining exports and income tax receipts. 96% of the revenue will be used to pay down COVID-era debt. Labor says the result shows its budget management has been responsible as the economy enters a more challenging period.
The Premier is headed stateside today. On his first official trip to the US, Peter Malinauskas will meet with government and defence industry leaders, as well as visit nuclear submarine shipyards in the wake of the AUKUS deal. He says the 10-day visit is about maximising every opportunity and forging even stronger ties with the United States. The number of medical students wanting to become GPs has fallen dramatically. Gabrielle Hodson has more.
Only 1 in 10 medical graduates from last year said they wanted to become a general practitioner. According to Medical Deans Australia New Zealand, SMH The Age reports the students who turn to specialties such as psychiatry can expect to earn 2 to 3 times more. The Royal Australian College of General Practitioners says the profession has been defunded and devalued by successive governments and it was no longer seen as a career of choice. The decline would have been sharper but for a surge in rural generalist training, allowing students to train as a GP but specialise in other fields.
The introduction of cameras to detect drivers using mobile phones may be delayed following secret trials last year. A trial evaluation summary reveals inconsistencies, with the results citing poor image quality issues. SAPOL says concerns of false detection will be addressed as testing of the system continues. Police have busted 3 women allegedly taking a huge amount of alcohol from South Australia into the Northern Territory. The trio, aged 28, 35 and 55, were found with almost 400 litres of cask wine, 23 litres of spirits and several premixed drinks. Asthma Australia is warning of the health and environmental dangers of wood heaters ahead of winter. The health costs associated with wood heaters is estimated to be more than $3 billion annually. Spokesperson Angela Cartwright says Australians should consider alternatives for better air quality.
What we hear consistently from our experts is the best source of heating is efficient reverse cycle air conditioning or central air conditioning.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience a 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. Let's start with footy. The AFL's releasing its round 16 to 23 fixture today, with Thursday night games being replaced by twilight Saturday blockbusters. Essendon, Collingwood and Carlton getting the pick of the big games. Well, meantime, the AFL says there's plenty of interest for a 20th side. Tasmania will enter the men's competition in 2028. Last week, a business case for a side in the Northern Territory was released. League boss Andrew Dillon is welcoming the debate.
Our focus at AFL House is fairly and squarely on the 19th team, but it's a great debate again for the 20th team. We've got interest from the NT, there's interest from North Queensland. You know, people have been talking about third teams out of WA, Canberra, so it's great that there's interest.
Meantime, North Melbourne's Colby McKercher has been named the Round 9 Rising Star nominee. Well, Alex de Minaur has defeated Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime in 3 sets to move through to the round of 16 at the Italian Open. He'll next face Greek star Stefanos Tsitsipas. One game in the English Premier League this morning with Aston Villa and Liverpool playing out a thrilling 3-3 draw. The result puts Villa 5 points clear of Ange Postecoglou's 5th place Tottenham, who take on Manchester City at home tomorrow morning. To cricket, and the first washout of the IPL tournament has occurred between the Gujarat Titans and Kolkata Knight Riders. The Titans will miss the finals while the Knight Riders will finish on top. And in some basketball news, the Denver Nuggets have squared their NBA playoff series with Minnesota at 2 games apiece. The Indiana Pacers have done the same thing against the New York Knicks after a 121-89 point win. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Flinders Park. Car has gone into a building, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road. Got speeds of 25, the lane closed. Pretty big delays there too at the moment. Works are blessed, slowing things up Rustrel Street near She-Oak Road, and we're slow at O'Halloran Hill. Works on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Got speeds at 80. Cameras this morning, Lauder Street, Engle Farm and Darley Road at Paradise. Visit My Car's friendly team in-store today or call 13 13 28 or online at mycar.com.au. My Car Tyre and Auto, people first. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Partly cloudy 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 21, Thursday partly cloudy 22, then Friday sunny and 21. Right now it's chilly 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Built like a brick house. Basic Trailers are your best mate for any load. Use the code 5AA to pay only $1 for rego on purchase of your new trailer. True blue deal at Paraka. Basic Trailers. Basically, better.
Hi, Katie Bridges here, Market Lead at 5AA. 2024 will mark my 4th year participating in the annual Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out. On June 20th, SA business and community leaders will gather at Adelaide Oval for one night to raise funds and awareness for people who sleep rough every night. If you're a business or community leader, get involved to help those who don't have a safe place to call home. Sign up now at ceosleepout.org.au. I'll see you there.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles' famous once-a-year May Mayhem is the biggest and best ever. Spend $1,000 and we'll only charge you $750. Or spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. That's right, spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. Don't miss the biggest and best National Tiles May Mayhem event of all time. So rush into National Tiles now and save. Conditions apply.
Radio is all about great on-air duos, and now the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has joined in.
They've doubled down. This time there's 2 grand prize homes. That means 2 grand prize winners.
That's 2 Scott Salisbury homes in Henley Beach, both fully furnished, both including $100,000 cash.
It's too good not to celebrate. So from us two to the 2 grand prizes, enjoy this Tuesday, and don't forget to buy your tickets too at homelottery.com.au.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7:09. It was the first hour of the program this morning. We spent a little bit in the past talking about 1976. A lot the last time we've had the first 2 weeks of May absent any rain, but also 1998. It was the year that Frank Sinatra died on this day. Tim sent us through a text on the Dutton's text line. Dutton's Volkswagen experience unmatched versatility and space in the Volkswagen Tiguan All-Space. Dutton's easy to do business with. This entire sentence would make no sense to someone who was born in 2000. Someone in their 20s right now would find this all totally bizarre. He says, guys, I think you'll find the announcement of Frank Sinatra's death was delayed slightly as they waited for a big television event to end, the final episode of Seinfeld.
Seriously?
Now, I don't know whether the announcement was delayed, but it was actually the same day as the big Seinfeld finale, so much so that the ambulance was able to get him to hospital really quickly because there were so fewer cars on the road. It was such a big television event.
Seriously?
That was the legend. That was the story that went around at the time anyway. But the idea that A, everyone went and watched a television show at the same time, B, you could delay the announcement of one of the most famous people in the history of entertainment because no one had social media, so you had to wait to see it on the news.
Yeah, well, if you didn't see the news, then you didn't see the news.
If you didn't see the news, you didn't know what was going on.
Unless you taped it.
So 1998, it's 1998, but it sounds like it could be 1898.
And of course, it feels that long ago as when the Crows won a premiership too.
God, well, now it does feel like a long time ago.
How much does that make the premiership sound like just a distant memory?
Yeah, I didn't need that little bit of extra context,
What
actually.
about that?
I was intrigued, and now I'm just slightly depressed. Dave called in a little bit earlier with a traffic note for us to be wary of this morning.
It's on Grange Road heading into the city, just near after the Coles. And it looks like a car's gone into the shop, so it's down to one lane.
So just that's something to be wary of this morning. Let's jump into some of the other news stories that are knocking around today. Starting with the fact that it is Federal Budget Day. The Treasurer will this evening hand down the budget, or at least the speech will be. We will get to see it. The lock-up will start in a couple of hours. The big headline that was dropped to newspapers around the country this morning is that the budget is back in the black. Just for this year, that one has detail. The out years of the budget, the next few years, don't have any detail whatsoever. But for at least this next year, a surplus of $9.3 billion, back in the red beyond that. So that clearly wasn't good enough to leak out. That'll become clear a little bit later tonight. The biggest issues that lead to the long-term return to deficit for the budget, the cost of the NDIS blowing out, interest on debt, health and aged care, none of this will surprise anyone, and of course defence too, are all things going to mean that it is a surplus, first back-to-back surplus we've had in a while, but it will be short-lived.
Is there going to be too much spending in this budget to relieve the exact type of inflationary pressure that the Reserve Bank's warning about? Well, that seems to be the headline issue that's emerging.
The Treasurer doesn't seem to think so, and Treasury, we know their forecasts are that inflation will return to the target band much sooner than the RBA thinks, which would suggest that Treasury know what's in the budget. That's the only advantage they have over the RBA. So you'd think there must be some sort of inflation-busting component, and that's not new spending. So, or they're just wild. There might just be wild predictions, like when.
But is Treasury totally independent? I mean, Treasury is the Treasurer's department, so they sort of duty bound to kind of agree with him, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
They're all sort
you
of
have a politically
working cheek
appointed
by
CEO,
jowl.
and yeah, invariably that filters through. But look, you might gain some short-term. People get excited and go, "Well, that's fantastic, terrific. That means these things are great." If it doesn't come to pass, it becomes an almighty own goal from the Treasurer and this federal government.
It's a big gamble.
Because we've made the point, they've managed to somehow skirt around they haven't owned any of this inflation. They've not owned it. Politically, they've managed it very well, where it's all been on the RBA. People will talk about, the RBA, they're so out of touch, they're awful.
Yeah, that Philip Lowe telling us all that rates were going to stay low.
Politically, they've been very astute in how they've managed to do that. This ends that completely. Every single person now knows that this government believes that they're going to plot a path back to the target band on inflation much sooner than the RBA. If they get that wrong, and mortgage holders have another rate increase, or it doesn't, and that happened in that time, there's no cuts, now they have to wear it.
The problem they've had, though, is that how often do you hear people say, what is the government doing about the cost of living? Now, there's two answers to that question. One is maybe the government could give us more money. The other answer is maybe the government should give us less money to stop people spending as much, which will take the pressure off on interest rates. Because 14 times now, mortgage holders have been clobbered over the head to slow down the economy.
Well, that's the cruelty of this inflation-led cost of living crisis, is that you can pull a lever to make life more comfortable for mortgage holders, and it'll make life more difficult for low-income earners and renters. You can do the exact opposite, and you get the reverse of that.
Yeah.
So pick your poison, federal government. Phone cameras are squarely in focus this morning, or maybe out of focus. Last night in 7 News, we revealed that by way of some Freedom of Information documents, turns out the cameras are not 100% accurate, and if they're not 100% accurate, it means there needs to be a degree of human oversight that we didn't previously think was required. The trial was conducted between April 1 and April 28 last year along South Road at Thebarton, and what they found was there was issues with cars accelerating and decelerating and doing unpredictable things that meant the system didn't work as well as possible. The outcome of all this is that thousands of images now are going to have to be individually vetted before fines are levied. No, this is all academic at this point. In fact, from the middle of next month, the June 19, cameras get switched on and you'll start getting sent warning letters if you're doing the wrong thing. Then from September 19, you'll be fined somewhere in the order of $540. But someone's going to have to sit there and have a look at the picture and make an assessment. Did the computer get it right or wrong? When you were away, David, earlier in the year, Matt Abraham and I interviewed Joe Sockarch about, the frailties of the mobile phone detection camera system. Have a little bit of listen to that chat in light of what we now know about the problems they have with accuracy.
What will the SA Police do with that information? Are they just going to look at mobile phone users? Or will they go through people not wearing seatbelts correctly, people eating a pack of twisties when they're meant to be focusing on the road? What are they going to do with the images?
Yeah, look, it's a really good question. So this has been on the go for our government now for a little while. The first thing that we had to do when coming to government was to pass laws to enable the detection of this offence via this technology and via this method. So the law change that we passed through the Parliament in 2022 was very clear and very strict and very limited, and that is that the use of images that we currently have in our suite of technology, for example, for red light cameras, that has now been extended to being able to detect someone who is committing the offence of using their phone while driving.
See, at that point in time, there were concerns about, how broad would the application be? It seems even if it's narrow focus, there are some concerns. Now, Sapov said the error rate is so small, it doesn't really mean much beyond the fact they're going to have to apply just a resource that someone's going to have to sit there and have a look at them.
At a time, though, when they're struggling so much on the resources front, I mean, they did what the Commissioner explained to us as a perfectly routine thing with non-frontline police of sending them to Alice Springs to help with the mayhem that's been unfolding up there. And the response from the public was, well, hang on a minute, if there's any police sitting around who are capable of doing frontline stuff anywhere, they should be doing it in the mall. They should be doing it to help people like Stacey Lee, and the cops in that case did do a good job, as Stacey herself said. But there's this huge sense that crime has got worse, and that there's not enough police to combat it. And what are we going to have people tied up checking photographs?
Dan Cregan was asked about that at his press conference yesterday, and he said that it wouldn't be a frontline police officer's role. So there's some poor bugger in Sapole who currently has a job, who's about to get a giant manila folder with 10,000 photographs of people maybe or maybe not touching their phones they're going to have to sort through. Which sounds like not particularly fun job. Yesterday on the program, we revealed quite late in the piece, we started to get some word that Alan John Hopkins had been arrested. We've got the full details of that now today following the South Australian Police releasing a bit more information. He was arrested in northeastern New South Wales in a place called Moree. He'd been wanted for almost 2 weeks over alleged serious offences against a child under the age of 18. Interestingly, police revealed yesterday they were in contact with a number of victims that have been left since he's been on the run. So there's one instance, according to the Times' reporting, where police allege he undertook a carjacking with using a hammer as a weapon. So that's one, but it sounds like there's multiple of these sorts of things that are going to be alleged. He's previously, of course, been convicted and served 10 years for an offence against a 10-year-old girl in her Paralowie home in 2007.
What a creep. A creep.
Now, just have a listen to this. This is someone in Moree, which is where this guy was hiding out. You know, great news for the people of Moree that this guy was knocking around town.
The fact that he was obviously being searched for by police nationwide and a known pedophile, it really makes you feel a bit sick, and I'm very glad that the Moree police did what they did and caught him.
So they managed to catch up with him. He'll be extradited back to South Australia, and all of those charges will be levelled against him. And this will be... It feels trite because we say it so often, but I'll be fascinated to see how this one gets handled.
This is the kind of bloke, when you hear that term, we mentioned it the other day, when you hear, the parole board or judges or defence lawyers say in seeking more lenient sentences, there's a danger that this person will become institutionalised. This guy's exactly the sort of person who should be institutionalised because he's clearly got no redeeming qualities. He can't control his urges. He's sick. The moment he knew he wasn't being monitored, he offended again. Now, next time you get the pat sort of, well, no decision to release a prisoner is ever entirely without risk. Okay, well, let's not do it then. Like, what a bunch of schmucks are we that we keep taking the risk? While we're talking about this, has the, and I'm not saying that they have, I'm just asking the question, has Adelaide Magistrate the Adelaide Magistrate who presided over the case of Janine Lusher, who is the driver who killed a former police officer due to her inept driving, is there a need for some sort of review of this judgment? I just don't understand it. So the woman who was driving the car that killed Roland Rowley Higgins, whose entire family were there sobbing in court yesterday, the driver has expressed no contrition whatsoever. She hasn't apologised, but purely because she had a good 50-year driving history. So, okay, she's never killed anyone before. She's been given a 12-month $500 bond. Now, we heard before from one of our listeners, the fines for touching your mobile phone, not using
$540, and a $90 victims of crime levy.
So touching your phone while motionless at a red light attracts a higher punishment than killing an ex-cop with your car. That is just stupid. And for the family of Rowley Higgins, it's sick. So this woman, she hasn't said sorry. And also, too, apparently there was some issue that emerged in court. She asked, or the prosecution apparently agreed, not to seek an immediate prison term because she wanted to go on an overseas holiday. Like, could the courts do any more to insult the family of this dead bloke? Does the Attorney General just get to page 11 of the Tiser today and go, oh yeah, yep, no worries, what else we got on today? Or does it... Because there should be some sort of capacity to go, hang on a minute. Everyone gets things wrong from time to time. It just feels like there might be something wrong with that judgment.
Well, even if it's not wrong, you know what it feels like? There's a total absence of oversight. Like, does the Attorney General go, can you just walk me through this one so I can understand what went on here? Does anyone believe that ever happens?
Yeah. It's weird.
Because oversight, at least knowing someone's going back through going, hang on, why did that happen? Would give you some degree of, but it just feels like these things happen and then they just disappear.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the magistrate's not going to come on radio about it. The chief magistrate's not going to come on radio about it. The only person who might get asked a question about it is Kaya Ma. So maybe out of his own interest, he might, just to sort of, prepare himself for future interviews. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. No, which I know.
Is that the society we are, that you can just kill someone?
Yeah.
You can kill them. K-I-double-L, dead. Stone dead. Not coming back. And you get a $500 fine? It is bizarre. It does my head in. And, I mean, I always come back to it. Just whatever you do, make sure you register your car. Because you'll get a 3 times greater fine for doing something like that.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
It's impossible to work out.
None of it makes sense.
All right, let's check traffic when we come back and talk sport in a moment. For the biggest range of outdoor furniture indoors, visit the Outdoor Scene's new location, Wilton Avenue, Summerton Park.
Thanks, Will. At Flinders Park, cars gone into a building there, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road, got speeds of 25, a lane closed, really heavy lanes inbound at the moment. Works a bit slow at Golden Grove Road near Einstein Drive, and we're down to 40 South Road at Glandorf Road, works there. The bitumen's up, got road plates in use there too. Cameras, Anzac Highway, Glenelg North and Darley Road at Paradise. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA-approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
I welcome the Premier's call for a social media ban on children aged under 14. He's motivated by what is apparent to us all, I think, the growth of mental illness reports in young people particularly, coinciding with social media on phones.
Matthew Pantelis.
Frankly, if it keeps them off social media, that's the best thing that can happen.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It truly is a win-win. 2 grand prize homes, 2 grand prize winners. The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has doubled the dream with 2 life-changing grand prizes in Henley Beach. Both are mortgage-free, fully furnished and built by Scott Salisbury Homes. With over 11,000 draws, you've got a 1 in 15 chance to win. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. Get your tickets at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14548.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team and I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
When you're gone, who gets the things most precious to you? Like your highly valued comic book collection or your 1976 Tirana in mint condition. If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. To beat the summer heat, Yes can connect you with a new air conditioner thanks to the SA government initiative called REPS. Yes is offering eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $8.99. Yes, $8.99. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yess.net.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
27 after 7. Philip's called in. Philip, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. I just outraged when I was listening to the fine the lady got for killing someone. I took my old trailer to the dump, which hadn't been used for years. It was registered, didn't have a number plate, but it was written in black text on the back. And I got an $864 fine for doing that, for going 2 kilometres to take it to the dump and leave it there.
Unbelievable. That's ridiculous.
And if you watch the RBT on TV, if I'm driving with drugs in my system, without a licence and drunk, I get an $800 fine for doing that. I'm not too sure who's setting the fine limits, but it's just absolutely ridiculous. So
well, Phil,
someone needs to have a look at it.
You would have been in less trouble if you backed over someone with your trailer.
Well, I would have got a $500 fine, so that would have been okay. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, I don't know who sets the fine levels, but someone's got to have a look at it. But when you see someone driving with drugs in their system without a licence and unregistered car, and they get an $800 fine.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Phil, thank you. Let's talk sport quickly. We'll take more calls and get some more texts on this fines issue very shortly. The sports show with Rowie and Timmy G last night got into this crazy situation where the AFL cleared Geelong regarding how they assessed the Jeremy Cameron head knock. Now, for those that haven't kept up with it, essentially his head got smashed. It was the absolute classic case where he should have been taken off and had a test done. They said they did it on the field. He went on play, it didn't come off. And then the next day, guess what? Delayed concussion symptoms ruled out. AFL says all good. Timmy G says, well, how's that different from the Alir one last year?
If I was Port, I'd go and have a red-hot crack at it, because Gazza from Blakeview said, look, the game should be stopped and the player must leave the ground with the doctor for assessment. No ifs, no buts. Now, for me, I'd be saying to the AFL, if you see that case is okay, then we want our $100,000 threat. That's cancelled out. That is now null and void, thank you very much, because we got in a heap of trouble for a guy that came off and actually got assessed by a doctor off field. Now, the doctor was doing his best to try and get to him and talk to him, and you cannot do an assessment like that. So then just say, within a couple of days, say that's all over and done with. That's it. We're happy with it. Right? So it took them 4 days to get the Finlayson case done. When it was cut and dry, and you already had a confession, it was done, and took 4 days for that to come out. Come on.
That's 100% right. And as Koshy said about the Finlayson stuff, all we ask for is consistency. Well, where's the consistency here? Port should demand a refund.
$100,000. Unbelievable. 5AA News coming up. Phil Curry with his budget preview next.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Mining exports and income tax receipts will help deliver the first back-to-back budget surplus in 2 decades. The Albanese government will announce the nation's finances are again in the black to the tune of $9.3 billion. The result is much lower than last year, with tonight's federal budget to show the economy is slowing. The government says there will be some spending measures to help households doing it tough. The opposition says the Albanese government isn't listening to the Reserve Bank's warning bells. Labor is confident the below budget today will help lower inflation sooner than expected. The forecast puts the government at odds with the RBA, which thinks inflation will remain high for longer. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor says the budget must have a clear plan to get inflation under control and restore standards of living.
The truth is that Australians are not overreacting and saying that they're facing a cost of living crisis right now. We've got homegrown inflation, which has come from Labor's policies. It's clear now this is actually coming domestically, it's not coming from overseas.
A predatory money-making practice that seeks to profit from the suffering of victims would be outlawed under proposed new state government laws. The government is moving to ban claim farming, the practice where a business receives a kickback for referring an injured client to a law firm. The practice is reported to occur in a number of personal injury fields, but was most recently highlighted in the wake of the Royal Commission into institutional responses to child sexual abuse. An ill-timed kiss caused a crash at Glenelg North this morning. A 25-year-old woman rolled her car and took out street signs on Tapley's Hill Road about 3:15 a.m. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says luckily no one was injured, but the cars are right off.
When officers spoke to the couple, it was revealed that the driver had become distracted by an ill-timed kiss from the passenger while she was trying to change the music. She's been reported, and her passenger, an 18-year-old man, he's been issued with an expiation notice for impeding the driver's ability to control the vehicle.
There were 2 other serious crashes overnight. A BMW lost control and ploughed into a building on Grange Road at Beverley. The driver and passenger ran off, and police are investigating whether the car was stolen. And a car crashed into 2 pedestrians at the intersection of Unley Road and Greenhill Road at Parkside. 2 38-year-old men suffered minor injuries. The driver of the car, a 39-year-old Glenelg North man, was not injured. He's assisting police with their inquiries. Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, has taken to the stand to testify against his ex-boss. He's expected to testify in the trial over the course of 2 days and has become a crucial witness for the prosecution in the former president's hush money trial. US Attorney Ben Chu has told Today evidence has been established in preceding weeks to support Mr. Cohen's claims.
Prosecution has established evidence that supports what we're hearing from Michael Cohen today, so that the jury does not necessarily have to rely solely on Mr. Cohen. They can rely on other witnesses they deem more reliable.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide is facing some potential selection headaches this week ahead of Sunday's clash at home against Hawthorn. The Power could welcome back several players, with captain Connor Rosie headlining those looking to return, along with Jordan Sweet, Jace Burgoyne and Lockie Jones. Port breathed new life into its season with a 6-point upset of Geelong, and assistant coach Luke Kelly told Rowie and Timmy G their ball movement was a standout against the Cats.
Probably over the last month we might have just gotten away from the way we actually like to move the football, and you sort of bring the focus back around, and clearly on the night our ability to move it with a bit of speed, give our forwards the best looks they possibly could was really pleasing.
Crows defender Josh Worrell will miss up to 12 weeks with a broken forearm after he had surgery yesterday. Meantime, North Melbourne co-captain Jai Simpkin insists players are working hard to improve, with the club winless from the opening 9 rounds.
Fixing little cogs in our game plan to suit us at the moment, but it'll come. You know, we're working our backsides off every single day, and as I said, we're such a united group and we're all in it together, so it will come. It's just going to take time.
The Roos will face Essendon on Sunday. Meantime, Indigenous players want a greater investment in next-generation academies. The number of Indigenous players in the AFL has dropped to 71 this season from 87 4 years ago. Briefly elsewhere, one game in the EPL this morning with Aston Villa and Liverpool playing out a 3-3 draw. And Alex de Minaur has defeated Felix Auger-Aliassime in 3 sets to advance to the round of 16 at the Italian Open. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
At Flinders Park, got a car that's gone into a building there. That's on Grange Road near Holbrooks Road with big delays inbound. We're slow at the moment, South Road at Glandore heading into the city. Got bitumen up there with road plates and new speeds at 40, and building Brighton Road at Glenelg East. Cameras this morning, Adelphi Terrace, Glenelg North and Ballou Street at Ingle Farm. The Australian government's tax cuts from the 1st of July aren't just for some, they're for every taxpayer. Visit taxcuts.gov.au to find out how the July 1 tax cuts will benefit you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Still no rain, partly cloudy 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 21, Thursday partly cloudy 22, and Friday sunny and 21. Right now it's 9. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We all know how dangerous undiagnosed sleep apnea can be on our health. SA's own Respirico Healthcare has been supporting South Australians for 20 years. As well as with no out-of-pocket expense, In-Home Sleep Studies Respirico can now offer a 100-day money-back guarantee on Philips DreamStation CPAP devices. Now there's no excuse for not treating sleep apnea with a risk-free trial at Respirico Healthcare. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Tonight on the new Summit, under an avalanche of pressure.
Stop, I'm scared.
The shock exit.
So close to a panic attack.
No one saw coming.
I can't do it.
Who leaves the $1 Million Mountain?
Get me a chopper. I'm not playing a fixed game.
Television's biggest adventure is just getting started.
Don't leave. I'm going. No, you're not.
The new Summit, tonight 7:30 on 9.
The 5AA studios are like a playground, and most playgrounds like that, they get a little messy. Would you say playground? Is that the word you use?
Yeah, more like some mosh pit.
Yeah. Okay.
Particularly after the weekends.
Oh,
made that point the other day.
Goodness.
Corporate Clean, where are you?
Well, fortunately, Corporate Clean ensures they are always ready for another day of play. See, we come in here and they're pristine, and after that, back to a pigsty.
I was just admiring the tea room, and it's all down to the excellent work of the Corporate Clean people. An unclean workplace leads to more absences, less productivity. Studies on bacteria have shown that desktops can be just as unsanitary as toilets. Ew. Not an office is cleaned by Corporate Clean, however. They don't cut corners, they clean them.
I don't doubt that piece of data, but I do wonder, what are other people doing with their computers? Corporate Clean are a locally owned business with over 30 years of experience in cleaning all types of office settings. There's no one better suited for the job. For a free quote and assessment, go to corporateclean.com.au.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out, while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 to 8. Geez, we're getting some great stories through on the Dutton's text line. Dutton's Volkswagen experience unmatched versatility in space and the Volkswagen Tiguan All-Space. Dutton's easy to do business with on the sorts of crazy fines people have got for offences that, well, shall we say, likely are significantly below killing someone.
Yes, Janine Lusher was placed on a 12-month, $500 bond for her own negligent driving, which resulted in the death of an ex-police officer. Rolly Higgins, $500, which she only has to pay if she does anything wrong, so she might not even pay it. How's this? I got fined $541 for doing 92 in an 80 zone because the 80 sign was obscured by a blooming wattle bush on the way into Balhanna. Rick in Aldinga Beach says, coming back from Canberra, we forgot that we had one avocado in the car fridge. $418 fine, more than trafficking meth, just below killing a person for dangerous driving. Another one here. I got a $640 fine for picking up my phone from the passenger's seat, hitting the home screen and putting it straight back down. I was in a side street waiting for a red light to turn green. The police officer accused me of sending a message. I offered him my phone to check, but he declined, probably because he knew he was wrong. I contested the fine, and I had to pay it. When are the fines going to be in line with the crime committed?
The fines are in line with the likelihood that the person getting it is going to contest it.
Yeah.
That seems to be the sort of the logic that underpins this.
Another one here about Rego from Michael. I received no notification that my Rego had expired and I forgot to renew it. And I was also doing 62 in a 50 zone without paying attention. The total fine for that is $2,020.
4 people killed.
Yeah, that's killing 4 people.
Unbelievable. All right, let's head to Canberra. It is Federal Budget Day. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review enjoying his last moments of freedom before budget lockup. Yeah, I assume you're going the lockup, Phil? Or are those days behind you?
Oh, they're sort of behind us. They still lock us up, but they lock us up in our office. We don't have to move into these special rooms in Parliament. It's the only good thing that came out of COVID, that they got rid of the old traditional lockup.
Oh, that's good.
Phil, you're almost coming up for your 30-year lockup anniversary, aren't you?
Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, it's good. Every year on your show, so how many budgets you done? I tried to add them up yesterday, but it's 25 something, I think.
Oh, mate. I reckon our first one was about 1997 together, wasn't it?
Yeah, the good old days. When I hit Kerry O'Brien in the head with a bread roll, remember that?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
True story.
Anyway.
That was dinner at the Lobby restaurant in Canberra after the budget lockup, and I said, "Didn't I say I'll give you $20 if you throw a bread roll at Kerry O'Brien?" And you did.
No, it was someone else in the ABC table, but it curved through the air, so it wasn't perfectly round.
I remember Kerry O'Brien barreled over to you, and he said, "What'd you do that for?" And you said,
"Oh, he wanted to kill me."
And you said, "Oh, because I'm drunk." And he said, "That's not an answer." And you said, "What is this, the 7:30 report?" It was one of the great comebacks of all time. Did you make your peace with Red Keza?
No, never did. No.
Really?
No, I mean, to this day, it gives me the stink eye if I see him.
Well, mate, you wouldn't get on his bad side. So this budget, Phil, we were talking before about the balancing act for Jim Chalmers. Everyone's saying, where's the cost of living relief? Is it going to be too much relief, too much by the way of tax cuts to keep inflation low?
Yeah, look, it doesn't sound like there'll be a lot. So like as I said, the big thing, if you're looking for, what's going to give me a bit of a leg up at the moment, will be the tax cuts they announced back in late January, when they reworked the Stage 3 tax cuts. So that is by far and away the big thing. So everyone who's working will get a pretty sizable tax cut on July 1. So they'll re-promote all that. And then from what I think, and it may be more than this, but there's going to be bits around the edges, like if you're on a pension or a fixed income and you don't benefit from those tax cuts, there'll be something there. I think like a power bill another power bill deduction like we got last year. You get an upfront deduction, and there might be something on rents as well. But beyond that, I'm not sure what else there'll be. They've got to be careful, Dave, because the one word this budget is about is inflation. It's about trying to get it down. And if they just keep handing out dough, and you've seen the state governments handing out dough, so it's actually making the federal government's job even worse. If you keep handing out dough, it just makes inflation stay high for longer. And the best thing you can do for the cost of living is get inflation down. So they'll sort of tinker around the edges a bit, and then, as Chalmers said the other day, some of this cost of living relief actually helps bring down inflation in an upfront sense, because if you lower the cost of a power bills are one of the things they measure for inflation. So it's a little bit of manipulation here. They're trying to buy an interest rate cut, I think, before the next election.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what does Treasury know that the RBA doesn't? I mean, is it about measures like that, Phil, that they can so confidently say that they'll be back within the target band 12 months earlier than the RBA is predicting?
Yeah, that's right. That's what the government says. Well, the RBA met last week, the Reserve Bank, and they issued all these fresh inflation forecasts, which are much higher than what we're going to see in the budget today. And the government says that's because the RBA board hasn't seen the budget. So when they see the budget, they may change their mind too. But it is a little bit of sort of manipulation, as I said, because look, I think the real reason is the budget is going to forecast economic growth is going to be slower next financial year than they predicted in December. So that plays quite a role in softening, spending and demand if the economy is slowing, and so that will probably have more of an effect than these power bill discounts, which have an upfront impact on inflation as well. But that's the good side. The bad side is if things are slowing, then unemployment's going to tick up. So you talk about the balancing act. That's what it's all about. And by this time next year, we will have had the election. I think May 17 is the very latest they can go, something like that. So this is, you can see it's not just about getting the economic fundamentals right, but the politics is going to be fairly important too.
Hey, Phil, put you on the spot. So it's about a year till the election. Can you see Dutton winning? Or do you think that structurally the Libs are so stuffed now because of losing all those teal seats and they're unlikely to get them back?
No, I can't see him winning, Dave. It's just mathematically impossible almost. They're only on about... They've had a couple of defectors sitting on the crossbench, but those seats will go back Liberal. But depending on how you count it, they're on about 55 to 57 seats, and you need 76. So they would need a victory the same size as John Howard in '96, which was against a 13-year-old Labor government, the team, or Tony Abbott pulled off 18 seats in 2013 against that train wreck of a Labor government, the Gillard-Rudd civil war, which people just wanted to put an end to. And I can't see either of those circumstances. We've still got a first-term Labor government. Having said that, I think if Dutton sort of got a run on and this government really got on the nose, if Dutton managed to get to 70 seats, they could, at a stretch, negotiate a minority government. There's enough of those 17 crossbenchers we have at the moment. There's 4 or 5 who might do a deal with the Libs, but at this stage I think the likely is it's a contest between Labor staying in majority government, and they're just in majority, or getting reduced to another minority government. They have to lose about three seats, and we're back to that sort of the Gillard sort of thing after 2010 with the Greens and everyone else weighing in. So,
because it feels like if the Libs have lost those middle-class rich seats, they need to go. They need to have some massive clean sweep, as happened under Howard when you had people like Trish Draper holding Macon and so on.
That's right.
They need to win suburbia.
Yeah, but I just don't think there's enough seats out there for them, Dave. So, they've already got Queensland locked up. I think they'll get a couple back in WA. They're pretty strong. And, Victoria's the real weak spot for Dutton. And they'll try and get Boothby back in South Australia. That's a big target seat for theirs. I think they're going to fight to hold on to Sturt also in South Australia. So, without those teal seats, it's very difficult. I mean, it's just mathematically it's very difficult. So, I think right from the outset, this is always for Dutton. It's a 2-term job. They got really cleaned up at the last election, the Liberal Party, and they lost a lot of good people. They lost a lot of future ministers and leaders in those teal seats. And they're probably in a lot better position at the moment than they thought they were going to be, but it's just too big an ask for them to win a majority at the next election.
Yeah.
Unless something really bad happens,
needs full-blown craziness for the government to get them up. Yeah, good stuff. On you, Phil. Enjoy lock-up number 27, and we'll chat later in the week.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, mate.
12 to 8. We've got a trial by jury to conduct, and the budget tonight is a big part of it.
In the criminal justice system, All defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
You see, Phil Curry is a press gallery journo. He has no choice but to go to the budget lockup. You do have a choice. The budget is tonight at 7 p.m. On ABC. You can watch it all unfold in all its majesty. Our question to you for the jury this morning is, do you watch the budget or anything else? The budget or anything else? Your options, if you want to go free-to-air at the same time, you've got A Current Affair on 9, you've got Home and Away on 7, you've got The Nanny on 9 Go, and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on 7 Bravo, if that's the direction you want to go in. For the jury trial this morning...
Is there some titillating European movie on SBS at the same time?
You can have a look for us. 8223 0000. Will you be watching the budget or anything else? The budget or anything else? Want to get a sense of how many of our listeners... Is it your civic duty to watch the budget?
So what are the choices again?
Budget, Current Affair, Home and Away, The Nanny, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Fran Drescher all the way.
I wonder what the ratings will say the next day. I'm going to be really interested to see what is Australia. Well, how many Australians watch the budget? 8223 0000. Let us know. We'll know from 5AA breakfast audiences. Do you watch the budget, or will you be watching anything else at 7 p.m. tonight?
Lou said there's a movie from Bhutan on SBS at the same time.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it sounds more interesting than half an hour of Jim Chances.
8223 0000. Get calling, jurors. We'll get your verdict in just a moment. Let's check.
Well, you can listen to Leith Forest.
Well, of course.
That's much more entertaining.
Leith.
Than all of the above.
Yeah. You could have Jim on in the background and, with the volume down, Leith volume up.
That's right.
Although it's not exactly an exciting visual picture, the budget speech. But, who knows? We'll find out with the jury trial. Watching the budget or anything else. This is a judgment-free zone, by the way. Okay?
Oh, yeah,
This is purely in the interest of science.
No judgment here.
Let's check traffic. For the biggest range of outdoor furniture indoors, visit the Outdoor Scene's new location, Wilton Avenue, Somerton Park.
Morning there at Flinders Park. A car has gone into a building, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road. Speeds at 25 with the lane closed. Renell Park, another crash there. South Road near Torrens Road, and getting busy at Paradise for works too. Lower North East Road near Darley Road, speeds at 40 k's. Cameras this morning at Delphi Terrace, Glenelg North and Research Road at Paraka. Every Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, head to OTR for a $5 sandwich. Choose from a wide range, all for just $5 each. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Hi, supercar driver Dave Reynolds here for our mates at Toyota Forklifts. Order any new electric forklift from Toyota's massive range of walkie stackers, reach and counterbalance forklifts, and go into the draw to win the ultimate supercars experience for you and 3 mates. Win 4 VIP tickets to a supercars event, accommodation, flights, hospitality, merch and more. For more details, visit toyotamterialhandling.com.au.
T's and C's apply. Offer ends July 31st.
Don't let the sun set on your energy savings. With NRG Solar's cutting-edge batteries, your energy independence lasts long after sunset. Enjoy the freedom of solar, even when you're not home. Experience the future of energy. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. NRG Solar, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or call 1300 858 160. To explore a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
This is one of those trials where I think we're getting a lot of confessions on the text line that people don't want to put their actual voice to. We've got 3 jurors on the line. We've got space for 3 more. 8223 Get calling now. You're watching The Budget or anything else tonight? I just want to do something we never usually do and read the text to give you an indication. But some of the confessions that are coming through, these are fine. You're an anonymous juror, folks, if you call in. 8223 Wayne says, fellas, I'm a double blues tragic of more than 60 years. I'd sooner watch the 78 grand final than a replay than Jim Chalmers. Thank you. Sarah in Ranella says, I'd pick Netflix over The Budget, but I'd pick literally any of those other TV options too. Amanda says, guys, or you could be watching AFL 360 on KO, which my family watches on most weeknights. Someone says, I'll choose Leith Forest, talking about Millicent and Carlton over The Budget.
Carlton. Is it that bad?
8223 Let's get to some jurors. The Budget or anything else, juror number 1?
Yeah, not The Budget, mate. But I'll be watching the double episodes of Bull that I've probably seen 20 times before.
Okay, thank you, juror number 1. Juror number 2, good morning.
Good morning. I'm a yellow dog Democrat. Anything but.
Good on you, juror number 2.
Thank you, juror number 2. Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning. I shall be watching 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown.
That's good, that show.
That is a very funny show.
I can only do the words bit, not the numbers bit. And I've got no idea how they do the numbers.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah. Juror number 4, good morning.
Good morning. I'll be watching a DVD of Waking the Dead.
Sounds a little bit like what's going to be happening in federal parliament. Juror number 4.
Thank
I
you.
thought so.
Yeah, juror number 4, thank you. Juror number 5, good morning.
Good morning. I'll be outside painting a wall and watching it dry.
Well, the good news, folks, is Will and I do this every year. We take one for the team. We watch The Budget so you don't have to. You will get the most relevant cost of living / interest rate focused coverage of tonight's budget only on the 5AA Breakfast Show. The ABC will do hours on it and send everyone to sleep. The FMs wouldn't even know that the budget's on. We'll get the balance right here. We'll have the best panel of experts. And
we're going to do our regular thing tomorrow morning. We'll get the people that are most affected that watch it closely to score it for their area of interest.
And what does it mean if you're looking for a house to rent? What does it mean if you've got if you can't afford a house at all because there's not any houses here?
Yeah. What does the business community make of it?
Yeah.
What does it mean for older Australians? We'll look at those specific issues tomorrow morning. But
all of that.
All of that. And maybe, based on this jury outcome, we should do a long review of The Nanny. Juror number 6, good morning.
What was her name?
Fran Drescher.
Bobby Fleckman from Spinal Tap?
I'll be watching, boring, I'll be watching Endeavour.
Okay.
Endeavour. What's Endeavour about, juror number 6?
It's murders with, oh goodness, I can't remember his name, but it's been on for years, boys.
Okay, Endeavour.
Graham had probably watched it.
I reckon I'd rather re-watch episode 4 of Baby Reindeer than the budget speech tonight, but it's our job. We have to...
I'm told that's a really hard watch.
The whole show is just something else. But, yes, don't want to give anything away, but do not watch that program with children.
Yeah.
Don't watch it with anyone who's squeamish or uptight. It is the wildest TV program I've ever seen.
It's one from, there are always people who say, I couldn't watch that show. And you appreciate their level of tolerance for stuff is maybe low. I know people that watch everything who have said, I didn't make it past episode 2 of that.
It's intense.
I haven't seen it. I don't know anything
I actually think it's incredibly clever and brilliant, and like the topic that it's discussing is like a hugely important one that you often don't see.
Well, now the woman's become a celebrity in real life.
Well, the big Piers Morgan interview. And now a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, is it as true as Netflix is saying it is?
2 minutes to 8. 5AA News is coming up in a moment. Breaking 8 next.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI.
One Solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Humans once spent hours starting fires, scrubbing dishes, and washing laundry, until appliances made it easy. Even choosing your appliance is easy thanks to Adelaide Appliance Gallery. They make life easier with the best advice, the best appliances, and the best deals on SMEG. Choose from SMEG's range of kitchen appliances and you'll save up to $3,000. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Payneham Road, St Peters.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tiler, affectionately known as Millimeter Martin. He swears you'll love his millimeter perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Look, we weren't going to say anything, but here at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've had some great news. We have just been named National Dealer of the Year by Volkswagen. Again, 2 years running. We're so chuffed we're having a sale on new and demo stock. They're available for immediate delivery with easy finance options. And remember, convenient next day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Now our great news is your great news. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's National Dealer of the Year sale. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers says he will hand down a responsible budget which will help struggling households and reform the economy. The nation's finances continue to be in the black, with a $9.3 billion surplus forecast for this financial year. But the budget will then move into deficit as exports slow, unemployment rises and wage growth stalls. Arriving at Parliament House in Canberra, Dr Chalmers says the government is ready for the challenging times ahead.
This budget will be responsible. It will put the people front and centre. It will help all Australians to deal with the pressures that they're under in the here and now, at the same time as we invest in the future.
South Australian Treasurer Stephen Mulligan details what he'll be looking out for in the financial blueprint.
We'll be watching very closely what their economic forecasts are for the next 4 years and what we think that will mean for the state's economy, but also revenues to both levels of government.
Meantime, consumers are cutting back on spending at supermarkets. Australians are prioritising spending on education and insurance amid cost of living pressures. Household spending fell by 1% last month, according to the Commonwealth Bank. The Premier will fly out to the US today. Mel Usher has more.
The visit stateside will focus on defence jobs and new submarines. Over the next 10 days, Peter Malinauskas will meet with government and defence industry leaders, as well as visiting nuclear submarine shipyards in the wake of the AUKUS deal. Maryland, Virginia and Connecticut are on the itinerary. The Premier says his trip is about maximising every opportunity and forging even stronger ties with the United States. It will be his 5th overseas trip since winning office just over 2 years ago.
The peak body for doctors is raising the alarm about a lack of university graduates aspiring to become general practitioners. Just 1 in 10 want to become a GP. The Royal Australian College of General Practitioners says declining interest in the career path will have a detrimental effect on rural areas where they're needed most. International airfares are dropping, but not as low as before the pandemic hit in 2019. Latest figures show fares have dropped around 13%. James Kavanagh from Flight Centre says Bali travellers are the big winners.
It's not quite down to pre-pandemic levels yet, and I don't think it will go down to that level for some time. If you remember, the prices were quite high over the last few years, but we're seeing discounts. If you look at year on year from this year to last year, places like Bali are down 21%, New Zealand's down around 13%, and the US is down 12%.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. The AFL will release its fixture for rounds 16 to 23 today, with Thursday night games set to be replaced by twilight Saturday matches. The Crows are set to be without defender Josh Worrell for up to 3 months after he required surgery on a broken forearm. He's currently recovering in hospital. Port, meantime, is hoping to regain several players for this Sunday's clash against Hawthorn, including Jordan Sweet, Jace Burgoyne, Lockie Jones and even potentially Captain Connor Rosie. Well, Aston Villa has all but secured Champions League football for next season after scoring 2 late goals to snatch a 3-3 draw against Liverpool.
Duran! It's 3-3 in the most extraordinary fashion.
Amazing scenes, audio there thanks to Optus. Tottenham would have to win both remaining games and hope Villa loses on the final day to snatch 4th place. And Spurs take on Manchester City tomorrow morning our time in a game City desperately needs to win to keep their title hopes on track. Well, Alex de Minaur has won through to the round of 16 at the Italian Open in Rome. He'll face Stefanos Tsitsipas next up. Daniil Medvedev is also through, but Holger Rune has been knocked out, while on the women's side, 5th seed Maria Sakkari has also been upset by veteran Victoria Azarenka. Well, the NBA playoffs resume in the next half hour with the Boston Celtics taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 4 of their best-of-7 series. The Celtics currently leading that one 2-1. And All Blacks captain Sam Cane will retire from international rugby at the end of the year. He's signed a 3-year deal in Japan. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Flinders Park. Car has gone into a building, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road. Speeds of 25 with the lane closed. Round Park, a crash. South Road near Torrens Road. Got some really solid delays inbound at the moment. And we're slow South Road at Glandore. Got roadworks there. The bitumen is up. Road plates and nuisance speeds at 40. Got a camera setting up right now at Bartley Terrace at Westlake Shore. What if imaginary friends were real? Don't miss If, the hilarious new family movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Steve Carell. It's the big screen in just 2 days. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Partly cloudy, 21 today. Likewise tomorrow, partly cloudy, 21. Thursday, partly cloudy, 22. Then Friday, sunny and 21. Right now it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 after 8. Our regular Unley Road commuters, maybe you're driving on it as you're listening right now. How do you feel about the prospect of it dropping to 50 k's an hour? It's on the agenda. Love to get your thoughts, though. People living there sort of south of Adelaide there. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line, 60 down to 50. We're going to be talking about that with Dr. Andrew Allen very shortly. Then after 8:30 today, we'll talk about cost of living measures in the federal budget that'll be released in just a few hours' time. Food Bank have some ideas of initiatives that might help, and they're going to tell us about the sort of people that are presenting at the moment and the issues that they're observing. And then just before 9 o'clock, Camel Poo Beer. Yeah. We're going there. The Road Brewery down in the southeast are broadening their and maybe our horizons.
You know, for people who like a can of West End or, you know, a Heineken or a Carlton Draft, maybe a pale ale, a Cooper's Pale Ale is about as crafty as we ever get. The news that a craft beer manufacturer is making beer out of camel dung vindicates our long-held view.
Well, usually
craft beer is a bit too weird.
In an old-fashioned sense, part of the advertising campaign for a beer may have been contains no poo.
Yeah.
Now
or traces of poo.
Yeah. Now it's different.
Now with less excrement. New improved recipe, less animal poop.
Well, they're trying something. We'll try and get to the sense of the thinking behind it with the Robetown Brewery. Beautiful part of the world.
I'll try it though
before 9 o'clock.
I mean, it is beer. So, you know, it has to be drunk.
Yep. Yeah, that it is. All right, let's...
If they can get us a can, we'll drink it on air.
We'll get Lucy to do it.
Yeah,
Lucy's
she's our
resident beer tester.
Luce loves a tinny before 9 a.m. 5 o'clock somewhere Loken, they call her.
It's time for breaking it up.
We've actually held the pre-arranged breaking at 8 that we had over for tomorrow because we are really keen and indeed honoured to be talking to our next guest, Carolyn Carey, because her late father has been the subject of a lot of understandable community outrage this morning. This poor man, Roland Rowley Higgins, an ex-police officer who was killed by this hopeless Janine Lusher, who has shown no contrition whatsoever, despite the fact that she had a sound driving record dating back 50 years. Well, she certainly saved the worst till last because her inattentive driving killed a man, a good man, whose family are devastated. And to add insult to injury, and this is the thing that's fired our listeners up this morning, we've been wondering out loud why there isn't going to be some sort of judicial review into this sentence. We cannot for the life of us understand how a woman who has not apologised for what she did ends up being placed on a 12-month $500 bond and only loses her licence for 9 months. We've had text after text from people saying that they had bigger fines for exceeding the speed limit by 8 Ks, for driving an unregistered trailer, for touching their phones. It's just crazy. And Carolyn is on the line now. Carolyn, firstly, our condolences for the loss of your father. He sounds like a great man, and we just can't understand the logic behind this judgment.
Oh, thank you very much. No, neither can we. It's been a really long trial process, and we were just grateful a couple of months ago when she was found guilty, and then yesterday was just like a big slap that that's all she got for killing a really, really good man who he'd obviously slammed on his brakes because he was only going at 30 k's an hour, and it's been a really hard thing to listen to. The whole thing.
We become a bit jaded and cynical in our jobs, Carolyn, because we're used to seeing cases like this that end with either a damp squib or, at worst, I'd say in your case, an insult to your family, an insult to the memory of your dad. Did you see this coming? Was there someone with you saying, look, sorry, but don't get your hopes up because, you know, we probably aren't going to be seeing a big sentence here, or did it come as a complete surprise to you?
Major Crash, our contact at Major Crash has been excellent, and the prosecutor has also been really helpful. But we were hoping for a bigger, if she reoffends, it's a month in jail, which is not going to happen, and we were hoping for at least 12 months loss of licence. But even that's not enough, really, because Dad's not here anymore because of her actions. So, 12 to 15 months is what Major Crash thought she might get, and she got 9, and a bigger fine. There's no fine. She hasn't been given a fine at all. It's a $500 bond if she reoffends.
Yeah. So in a material sense, it's actually cost her nothing.
Yeah, except for her fighting it in court. That's the only thing that she's had to pay out for.
She'll be back driving early next year.
Yeah, she will. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's outrageous.
I just can't. Well, the thing I really struggle with too is I reckon most people listening to this, and heaven forbid anyone ever found themselves in this situation, where even if you give her the benefit of the doubt and say, all right, she was a good driver for 50 years, but if you've done something this bad and heinous, how is it that she never reached out to you guys and your sister and the rest of your family and said, if only life came with a rewind switch, I am so sorry?
That's what has been, for me, the most hurtful part, is that she never, ever, ever said sorry. And I just, that's like, you know, Dad was Mum's full-time carer as well. Mum's had to go into a nursing home, and that she's declined hugely since she's been in there because she has dementia. So, you know, every week I visit her, she's with Dad. And the grief just multiplies. Dad would still be here. He was a strong, fit man, and she's taken so much away from us.
Good God. It's just terrible. I hope the magistrate gets a tape of this, and we just to reflect on it, because there was a capacity to do more with that sentence.
Yeah.
There was
Well,
a
that's what we were
capacity to
hoping.
do more. We won't go beyond saying that, other than to state that there was a capacity to do more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gutsy of you to talk to us on air, Caroline, given what you've been through, and we'll stay in touch with you, because we think this is an outrage.
Thank you so much for talking about it. And Sean Fuster's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, we talk to Sean every
great.
week. We'll have Sean on the show tomorrow, and we'll discuss this case with him and play some of this interview, because it's powerful stuff. People need to listen to it. The Attorney General needs to listen to it. We need a full audit of how these stupid fines work, because it's just adding insult to injury for families like yours.
Thank you so much.
Good on you, Caroline.
Well, as Caroline said, so one person was killed, but multiple lives have been irrevocably changed.
Well,
her mother's life quality has diminished demonstrably because of this.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's not even to
It's
mention
just
the
sick.
grief and what the rest of the family goes through, and we live in this enlightened era of mental health, apparently, but none of it matters. Well, that's certainly the impression you get.
I know. I don't know if this Janine Lusher woman can live with herself. How can you not say sorry? How can you not rush out the court saying, I just cannot believe that I did this. I am so racked with remorse. Is there anything I can do to help your family? I mean, she hasn't faced any financial penalty. Maybe the Lushers could dip into their savings and help with the cost of this poor woman's aged care now that she's lost a carer.
Just awful. Absolutely awful.
How do they live with themselves? They deserve a bit of a chip on the way through here, don't they? What are they sitting around going, well done, Mum, you got off? Wow, what a way to live. You do something like that to another fellow human being and you walk out of the court going, yippee. Like, seriously?
All right, let's check traffic. For the biggest range of outdoor furniture indoors, visit the Outdoor Scene's new location, Wilton Avenue, Somerton Park.
Thanks, Will. At Flinders Park, car has gone into a building, Grange Road near Holbrooks Road. Speeds of 25 the lane, out of action. Bit sluggish through there. Redown Park, a crash. South Road near Torrens Road causing delays. Busy at Globe Derby Park, Port Wakefield Road near Daniel Avenue, and quite slow Brighton Road, Brighton. Cameras at Elfie Terrace, Glenelg North, and Blue Street at Eagle Farm. When the lucky country isn't so lucky you with Amy. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
What about Jeremy Cameron being knocked senseless and being okayed by the medical staff on the field? Andrew Dillon says it's okay. Port got a $100,000 fine earlier. If I was Port, I'd be saying to the AFL, if you see that case as okay, then we want our $100,000 threat cancelled out.
The 5AA Sports Show.
We got in a heap of trouble for a guy that came off and actually got assessed by a doctor.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Gone are the days of bulky solar panels. NRG Solar is ushering in a new era of sleek, efficient solar technology. With just a few panels, harness the power of the sun like never before. The equation is simple. More efficiency, more savings. Join the revolution with NRG Solar. Discover simplicity at 1275 South Road St Mary's or online at nrgsolar.com.au. NRG Solar, for a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Exercise is essential to well-being, and ensuring everyone feels strong in body and mind is what Brain and Body Fitness Studio is all about.
Their team of qualified exercise physiologists tailor exercise programs for those living with chronic conditions, injuries or disabilities, or those who want to age well. With individualised, in-depth coaching, they craft unique workouts to meet unique needs, while group classes like yoga, boxing, dance and mat Pilates create a vibrant community where victories are shared.
As allied health professionals, members can save using private health rebates. DVA health cards, white or gold, are accepted as payment upon a GP referral. They also accept those supported by the NDIS and My Aged Care.
Discover the Brain and Body Fitness Studio at bbfs.com.au.
We all know how dangerous undiagnosed sleep apnea can be on our health. SA's own Respirico Healthcare has been supporting South Australians for 20 years. As well as with no out-of-pocket expense, In-Home Sleep Studies Respirico can now offer a 100-day money-back guarantee on Philips DreamStation CPAP devices. Now there's no excuse for not treating sleep apnea with a risk-free trial at Respirico Healthcare. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
19 minutes after 8. Intrigued to hear from our southern suburbs and inner south listeners this morning. People maybe work and drive through the inner south. The state government's thrown its support behind a plan to reduce part of Unley Road down to 50 k's an hour. It'll be a stretch that's about 1.5 k's long between Greenhill Road and Park Street and Wattle Street intersection. The next K to Crossroad will stay at 60. So it's the bit close to the city.
Yeah.
Goes down to 50 k's an hour. Good idea or bad? Let us know on 8223 0000. You can text us on the Duttons text line. Dr. Andrew Allen, Senior Lecturer in Transport and Urban and Planning from UniSA joins us. Dr. Allen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I use this road quite a bit, Dr. Allen, and it feels to me like motorists largely are already acting like it is a 50 zone because it's such a logistically challenging stretch of road, that northern end of Unley Road, that 60 feels like you're pushing it a bit already, does it not?
Yes, it's not really designed as a 60k road. There is a lot going on in the road space. It's a very narrow arterial road. It's less than ideal. In fact, it's not really wide enough for 4 trafficable lanes and a cycle path. If a vehicle does run off the road, it's a serious accident. So a lower speed limit makes sense.
Well, you mentioned cyclists. I think a lot of cyclists who are listening to our show, I think a lot of them would avoid it because you've got cars parking on the left. You've got cars often doing right-hand turns into Cambridge and Oxford and all the roads there on the right. And it's just too squishy.
Yes, and I think the cycle path at that lane is only available in peak hours. So the rest of the time, there's vehicles parking there. So cyclists have to watch out not to be car-doored as they cycle along.
Totally.
So, Dr. Allen, then, when it comes, just trying to think off the top of my head, when it comes to these main arterial roads, the 60k an hour limit's sort of becoming an endangered animal. So Donald Bradman Drive's still 60. Henley Beach obviously changed in a big way. Do you think inevitably we're just going to get to a point that all of these main roads towards getting close to the city are going to get to 50 k's an hour?
Depends. I think where you have sensitive road users alongside the road, they'll probably transition to 50. But if there's not a lot of driveway openings onto the road, there aren't a lot of pedestrians around, they'll probably remain at 60 k's. But we have seen Prospect Road that's gone down to 50. But the traffic service function, of course, is lower now. I guess the state government's also looking at the north-south motorway taking some of the pressure off the road system, at least in the north-south direction.
Is there a correlation?
But you wouldn't cop it for like Anzac Highway. You don't want Anzac Highway.
No, of course
50.
not. No,
if it's wide enough and it's got enough lanes like that, then and there's no parking on the actual road, then that's fine.
Well, I think it's an interesting one, and it feels like. Well, let me ask you, Dr. Allen. Is there a correlation then between population growth and reducing speed limits? Like, is there a sort of demonstrable, as the population of cars on the road increases, we're going to see invariably roads that maybe we hadn't previously considered have to start dropping away to 50 or even slower?
Yes, and it's also part of an international trend. Partly it's the road safety question. It's one of the easy fixes, I guess, to bring road accidents down, or road crashes. When you have a lower speed limit, the severity of crashes is less. So I guess road safety authorities are also looking at that. It's a bit of a balancing act because you want to maintain the traffic movement function, but you also wanted it to be safe. So
the sweet spot. Yeah, it's probably always a moving target as well. Dr. Allen, thank you. We've got some callers who want to have their say on this. Dr. Allen from UniSA joining us with a bit of science there. Let's chat with the member for Unley, David Pizzoni, who's called into the program. David, good morning to you.
G'day, Will. How are you?
Good.
This is I certainly support this. I think what we need to understand here is that this is really about the community, and it's about the economic zone that, or economic area that Unley Road is. I mean, we don't have a lot of strip shopping in South Australia, in Adelaide. We have certain roads that are desirable, they're destinations for people to shop, and Unley Road is one of those, and people value the strip shopping. And consequently, this is not going to affect any peak hour, because as you earlier commented, nobody can do 60 kilometres an hour in peak hour on Unley Road anyway. This is really about making Unley safer for those who are on the footpaths, those who are crossing the road outside of those peak hour periods. It's been working successfully in Goodwood Road, which is a road that's of equal size, width and busyness as Unley Road. And we're seeing the businesses just thrive on Goodwood Road with that focus on the local community. More people are demanding outdoor dining. At 60 kilometres an hour, you have to have bollards in front of your cafe or restaurant. At 50 kilometres an hour, you don't. So there's a lot of things that play into this that is why I support this. Interestingly, Unley was the first council in South Australia to have the 40 kilometre an hour residential streets. That was 30 years ago. I had young kids at that time, and I was very supportive, very relieved that we wouldn't see cars doing 60 kilometres an hour down Charles Street or Mary Street.
Makes sense.
So I think this is a good move. It's good for the community. And I think it is part of a maturing city that we want to preserve the character that we have there. If this becomes a freeway where clearways are extended and it's just used for getting cars from north to south, it'll be a desert land. There'll be no desire to go there. Shops won't be able to be profitable, and they'll close.
Yeah. David Pizzoni, thank you. So the state government, the local member, and indeed the local council seem to all be in agreement. What do our listeners think? Let's go to South Plympton. Sue, what do you make of this?
I think it should definitely be 50. It works on Goodwood Road, it works on Prospect Road, and I agree with David, you can hardly go more than 50 at most times on it anyway, so just make it 50.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Vinny and Grange, what do you think?
It's to make it 50, but two side mirrors, because the road's narrow in some situations. You've got two choices: stay on the left and you lose your mirror, or go on the right and you can't move because somebody's doing a right turn. You're sort of trapped at Unley, but you've got a narrow spot.
Yeah, Glen Osmond Road has a bit like that too.
Oh, Glen Osmond Road.
A lot like that, should I say. Trevor in Seaford, good morning.
G'day. I was born and bred in Unley, and Arthur Street, Mary Street, Oxford Street, that section there is the narrowest, right? But the the cyclists on the footpath, they're getting dangerous. We've got motorised scooters, and they're doing 20, 30 kilometres an hour on the footpath.
Yeah, good point. That's an issue too. Thank you for that, Trevor. Should we do some Dutton's texts? Dutton's Volkswagen, experience unmatched versatility and space in the Volkswagen Tiguan all space. Dutton's, easy to do business with.
Can listeners in McGill, I know we've got Paul in McGill, one of our keen texters. I'm pretty sure McGill Road's 60 all along. Is it? Because it feels like with this, if this discussion's happening about Unley Road,
on-street parking,
that stretch, particularly on the sort of the western side of McGill Road, where you've got all of the antique shops and furniture stores and everything, pretty arty part of town. I wonder if it
would seem to be next.
Going to create a debate about 50 there. I tell you what, there's an absolute stack of feedback about our interview with Carol and Rolly's daughter as breaking at 8 today. Not all of it can be read out on air, but suffice to say that people feel that, in this case, the criminal justice system has let the community and most importantly, this family down spectacularly.
All right, 5AA News is coming up. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Humans once spent hours starting fires, scrubbing dishes, and washing laundry until appliances made it easy. Even choosing your appliance is easy thanks to Adelaide Appliance Gallery. They make life easier with the best advice, the best appliances, and the best deals on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's Diamond series of dishwashers and you'll save up to $500. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
When your loved one needs round-the-clock care, it's a lot of responsibility. Ensuring they live independently and in comfort is a lot to consider.
Luckily, Always Care is always there. Their ability to coordinate shared and supported independent living for those needing around-the-clock care is second to none.
And they'll expertly match your loved one with their ideal housemates based on their required level of care and personality, and with the right support worker to ensure they receive the care they need in a harmonious and comfortable environment.
Always Care has housing across SA, so your loved one won't be far. They also provide respite with like-minded housemates, so you can take some time for yourself, and this can often be a way to trial living independently. If you or a loved one needs short-term or ongoing care in perfectly matched shared living, consider Always Care. Visit alwayscare.com.au.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Puddings.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Strong mining exports and relatively low unemployment will help the Albanese government post its second budget surplus. Federal Politics editor Michael Packy.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will hand down his third budget later tonight, where he'll announce a $9.3 billion surplus for this financial year. It's the first time in 2 decades where the nation has had back-to-back surpluses. Strong iron ore, coal and gas exports, along with income tax collection, has mainly driven the result. But the budget papers will show the economy's entering a more challenging period, and it could take until mid-2027 for Australia's financial position to improve again.
Fighting has continued in many parts of Gaza, with conflict reported from around Rafah in the south. Thousands of people have fled refugee camps in Gaza after Israeli forces dropped leaflets and sent text messages warning of impending action. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says Israel has the responsibility to do everything it can to protect civilians.
Israel has an unusual, even unprecedented burden in fighting this war because Hamas uses hospitals and schools and other civilian facilities for military purposes.
A car's crashed into a building at Beverley this morning. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says the black BMW lost control on Grange Road about 4:20.
Witnesses reported seeing two men get out of the car and run for it, and they were last seen heading north on Main Road in Beverley. When Western Patrols arrived, they searched the area but were unable to locate these two men. But checks revealed the car was bearing false number plates. We are still making inquiries into whether the car was a stolen vehicle or not.
SES crews helped shore up the building while the car was towed from the scene. The introduction of cameras to detect drivers using mobile phones may be delayed following secret trials last year. A trial evaluation summary reveals inconsistencies with the results, citing poor image quality issues. SAPOL says concerns of false detection will be addressed as testing of the system continues. Doctors say general practice is no longer appealing for graduates because there is a lack of respect for the profession. New research shows just 10% of medical graduates are choosing to become a GP. RACGP President Dr Nicole Higgins says the role local doctors play in the community needs to be recognised.
GPs are trained for 11 years to become a specialist, just like a cardiologist or a neurologist. We need to make sure it gets the recognition it deserves. We also need to make sure that general practice is adequately funded.
Police have busted 3 women allegedly taking a huge amount of alcohol from South Australia into the Northern Territory. The trio, aged 28, 35 and 55, were found with almost 400 litres of cask wine, 23 litres of spirits and several premixed drinks. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a good morning to you as well, Graham. Adelaide's selection panel will have to decide who to bring in for defender Josh Worrell, with a 23-year-old set to be sidelined for up to 12 weeks with a broken forearm. He spent the night in hospital following surgery and will be released at some point today. Well, the AFL insists it isn't alarmed by a drop-off in the number of Indigenous players at the elite level. There's just 71 players this season compared with 87 4 years ago. St Kilda veteran Brad Hill says it's on clubs to address the issue.
I don't know what the reason is, but those numbers that we see with the drop-off, we don't want to see, and hopefully we can keep on improving, and AFL clubs keep investing, and keep looking at drafting Indigenous players because there's a lot of talent out there for sure.
Geelong's forward line is expected to look drastically different against Gold Coast in Darwin on Thursday night. Jeremy Cameron's out with concussion, while Tom Hawkins isn't expected to make the trip to the top end. Small forward Tyson Stengel is confident the next generation will see them return to the winners list.
We've got some young players coming through, so we've got full belief in them and their ability to be competitive and come up and be competitive at the level. So I don't think with as much stress, I think we'll be fine.
Former South African captain and Redback skipper Johan Botha has signed on as head coach of the Brisbane Heat and Queensland Bulls, the 42-year-old taking over following the departure of Wade Seckham in March. And one of the PGA's tour directors has resigned from the board, stating, quote, no meaningful progress has been made on its proposed merger with LIV. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Arrow Park, residual delays clearing from earlier crash on South Road near Torrens Road. Work slowing things up at Globe Derby Park, Port Wakefield Road near Martins Road, and we're slow at Glandor at the moment. Works on South Road just past the overpass as you're heading into the city. Bitumen's ripped up there, road plates and nuisance speeds at 40. Got a camera getting set up right now, Anzac Highway, Glenelg North. The Adelaide Central Market is open and trading as always, with over 70 traders under one roof. Open Tuesday till Saturday. AdelaideCentralMarket.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
And the long dry continues. Partly cloudy 21 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 21. Thursday partly cloudy 22. Then Friday sunny and 21. Right now in Adelaide it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hyundai's SUV sale with up to $1,500 in factory bonuses on Tucson. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 9. The federal budget tonight, as we reviewed about an hour ago. Not that our listeners will be necessarily watching it, but it'll affect everybody, and certainly everyone's got a stake in what gets done on a cost of living front, be you a mortgage holder that's hoping for the belt to get tightened by the federal budget, or you being someone who's maybe you're a renter or someone who's just having to deal with the effects of inflation when you go to the supermarket checkout, you'll have a very different view about what can be done to try and alleviate the burdens on you in a cost of living sense.
One of our listeners, Phil at Henley, he said, I must be a real nerd because I'm going to be watching the budget.
Good on you, Phil.
Other than Phil, though, it's just going to be Will and I packaging it all up for you, our listeners, tomorrow with Adelaide's best précis of what occurs tonight.
Well, Greg Pattinson will be watching it as well. Greg's the CEO of Food Bank here in South Australia. And again, I'm guessing, Greg, you would have clients and people you deal with every day that fit both those categories of people. I guess feel like they're the victims of the cost of living squeeze at the moment. People that are struggling to put food on the table with a mortgage, and those that are struggling as renters or indeed struggling to even find basic accommodation. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, you're quite right. I mean, the majority of people coming to get food from Food Bank now have jobs, and many have mortgages. So, cost of living is by far the single cause of people needing assistance in that area. So, in terms of the budget, and purely from the perspective of Food Bank, where we see ourselves almost as the barometer of how the social services is going. Anything that the government's going to do to improve the cost of affordable housing and also the cost of living overall will have an impact.
We shouldn't brush past that point. It's hugely significant, and it matches what we're hearing from Hutt Street Centre and a host of other places here in Adelaide too. You have clients now that have mortgages and full-time employment that are needing support to put food on the table. Can you track when that shift started to happen? How recent is that phenomenon where you saw that profile of people come to you for assistance?
I think it started during COVID, and at the time we put it down to the fact that there were sectors of the economy that closed down. The hospitality sector, the travel industry. We saw a huge increase there, but it was sort of offset and hidden at the time by the fact that the government raised the job seeker rate. If you recall, they put through the JobKeeper payment.
You there, Greg?
I think we've lost Greg.
Oh, Greg just dropped out on us. Well, we'll call him back. Must have been a dodgy phone line.
Hey, while we're waiting to resume the chatting, we've had a lot of messages from people making the point that how is it that over the last 2 weeks, when you've seen the woman who killed Roland Higgins waltz out of court, how is it that the Adelaide legal community has got it into its bewigged skulls that the number one issue facing them is whether they can call themselves KCs or not? How pathetic. Do these people have any idea how self-absorbed and juvenile they look? That's a good question, isn't it?
Well, I think that was why it was the front page of the Times the other day. It was like, this is what's exciting people that make decisions.
Wow. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's extraordinary, isn't it? How utterly detached from real life people can be.
Greg's back on the line. Sorry, Greg, we just lost you mid-sentence there, and you're making a very salient point.
Sorry. I'm sure it was very important.
Well, let's continue to talk about it by having a look at what's happening today and what you're expecting out of tonight, or what would you like to see out of tonight? What would make a material difference to you and the people you support?
Well, in terms from a purely Food Bank perspective, we're looking for the government to, and we've been pushing for this for quite some time, to provide, firstly, increasing the job seeker payments. With Food Bank nationally has been an advocate for that for some time now, because we have seen a decrease in the number of people when the job seeker payment was increased during COVID, and also we're looking for more incentives in terms of tax incentives or tax write-offs for organisations, food companies, and primary producers to donate services to Food Bank. So, transport, for example, freight companies being able to give us donate freight to us and space on their trucks. If they're able to claim that as a tax donation, and we believe that would be a significant benefit to the food relief sector. So, but I think overall we're still hoping that the government starts to address the fundamental issues, which is the cost of living and the impact that's having on everyday people.
Yeah, no, all will be revealed tonight, Greg. I don't know how much joy you're going to see on the increasing job seeker front. I think the government sort of said they're going to set that to one side. Greg Pattinson, the CEO of Food Bank SA. What about old Troy Smith in Bali? Crikey.
Well, now he's been charged with trafficking, hasn't he? So,
which
faces life imprisonment, which means
and
life
950,
in Bali, doesn't it?
It does mean life.
It's not Adelaide life.
No. It's a $950,000 fine and life imprisonment.
Where did we take the definition of life imprisonment in South Australia from? Was that measured back in 2000 BC, was it?
I think so.
Life imprisonment, 18 years.
What about his star turn yesterday? So he had some sort of health episode, or he said that he did, back pain or something. But did you see him when he was being pundled into the...
Because he's got a bad back from sitting in his cell.
But he said, go the power.
Yeah, having been photographed with a crow's top on.
It's amazing you can be in the thick of a major criminal trial in Denpasar and your thoughts still turn to the showdown. How strange.
He's not a well person, I think, on a number of fronts. Have you seen the State Liberal Party have put out a release this morning with regard to the voter turnout at The Voice, which... This is going to be fascinating how this progresses politically, this story. They have found, based on Freedom Information documents, that on polling day there were booths at Roxby Downs, Port Victoria and Strathalbyn where the number of votes cast didn't exceed the number of people working at the polling booth. So at Roxby Downs in Port Victoria, there were 3 staff on and 1 vote at each station. Strathalbyn had 3 staff members and 3 votes put on. Whyalla on pre-poll had 4 consecutive days where more staff worked than votes were cast. No votes recorded on 2 days, 2 of the days, despite the allocation of 3 staff that were working there. Now, obviously, the nature of this is that you're going to remote places, remote communities with sparsely populated areas, so the numbers are never going to look like what they look like for a general election. But, geez, it doesn't feel like it's really captured the imagination.
I think the government has got a credibility problem with The Voice, and it shows that when it comes to voter fatigue or disinterest, there's no difference between the First Australians and us whiteys. When we're talking about being fined to vote at local government and no one votes for the local council and all of that. Well, every Indigenous South Australian was given a chance to vote, and clearly a lot of them all right, well, it's not compulsory, is it? But this is the question, because I think that clearly we've got one of the most popular premiers in Australia. Like Peter Malinowskis, things are chugging along well for this government. And part of it is because, I think with his even-handed, non-ideological approach to issues, Peter Malinowskis is seen as someone who approaches things firstly from a position of common sense rather than ideology. Is that a fair description of Mally, do you think?
Yeah.
He's not an ideologue.
He's expert at reading the public mood.
So, how do we get to a situation where next year someone who 6 people voted for reserves the right to have a private meeting with the police commissioner, a private meeting with the head of Premier and Cabinet, the head of the health department, and also, should they end up being on the peak state voice body, which is a couple of people selected from each of the local voices, how is it that someone who 6 people have voted for can waltz into Parliament? And I know it's not binding, and that part of it, it's not binding, it's not legislated. That's one of the reasons why the model here in SA is less dramatic than the federal one. But how can you make a common sense argument that someone who got 6 votes can walk onto the floor of Parliament speaking on behalf of anyone?
Well, overall, less than 10% of the eligible population turned out. So 90% of people went up. So it doesn't represent 90% of people. So it's got a huge credibility issue. You know what?
The best they've been able to say in its defence is, and it's a sort of mushy, from little things, big things grow argument. Well, it's the first time we've ever done it. But isn't the rejoinder to that, well, it's the first time we've ever done it and it doesn't appear to have worked very well.
Too much fanfare. You're right. The saving grace is it can be tweaked, or I'm sure as the Liberals at some point will come out and say, removed in the event that there is no interest in it and it's not well supported. Can you imagine if we got those numbers on a federal one that was enshrined in the Constitution?
So I did a piece about 4 weeks ago for The Australian saying that the Libs are considering or talking privately about whether they actually muscle up ahead of the election, because their position is that they'll review it.
Yes.
But there are people within the SA Liberal Party who want to come out ahead of the election and go, you know what, based on the turnout, we actually oppose it and we will run on a promise of scrapping it. And my suspicion is that they probably will do that, but then there might be some moderates in the party who are going, how's that going to play? I mean, the funny thing is, that could actually be applauded almost everywhere, apart from in David Pisoni's seat, where the highest yes vote cast at the federal election was at Goodwood Primary School.
Yeah, that's so the tricky politics.
Your teal-style voters might be the ones who take David Spears aside and go, so you played the race card on The Voice. Whereas, you know, on the old 5AA text line, and it's happening now, bing, 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 everyone's going, this is madness.
Yeah, you're going to hear more about that story over the course of the day. That data's just come out. All right, let's check traffic. In fact, before we do that, we'll have a look at the fuel situation. Refuel for less and stay ahead of the cycle with the RAA app's new Fuel Trends feature. The Ex-Convenience Bryans Road Northfield, $1.72.5. The Ex-Convenience Commercial Road Shido Park, $1.69.5. The Ampol Military Road Grange, $1.73.5. And the cheapest diesel, the United Main North Road Paraka at $1.83.5. For the biggest range of outdoor furniture indoors, visit the Outdoor Scene's new location, Wilton Avenue, Somerton Park.
Thanks, Will. At Para Hills West, a car smash and roll over on McIntyre Road at Northbriar Avenue. Works at St Agnes a bit slow. Hancock Road near Parkview Drive. And we're busy at the moment South Road at Glandore heading into the city. Just after the overpass, bitumen's ripped up. Road plates and nuisance speeds at 40. Cumbers Military Road West Beach. You've got one right now. Anzac Highway, Glenelg North. Enjoy a freshly ground small coffee for just $2 at Coles Express and Ready Express. Is this Australia's best $2 coffee? If you know, you know. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings, new penalties for owners whose dogs launch an attack on another person, another animal, and concerns over how the new mobile phone cameras will detect users driving while using their phones. They're just two, lots more topics, your calls as well. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey, don't get too close to the road.
She rides from the top of the driveway to test how fast she can go. And suddenly...
Wait, stop!
She's testing your brakes too. Stop and take time to ensure your car stops in time and the brakes are all you hit. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
2 grand prize homes. 2 grand prize winners. The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's 2 grand prizes in Henley Beach are life-changing. 2 fully furnished, mortgage-free Scott Salisbury homes. And both include $100,000. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. That means you can have your cake and eat it too. 2 grand prize homes, 2 grand prize winners. And it's never too early to buy tickets. Homelottery.com.au. Licence M14548.
If you want to get off-road with confidence, make sure your four-wheel drive is TJM equipped. Now's the time to do it with big savings on Lovell's GVM and BTC kits and get up to 22% off kit prices. Save over $1,000 on selected vehicle kits, including a wide range of vehicles from Ford Rangers, Toyota Prado, Toyota Land Cruiser 70 Series and 200 Series. You better hurry though, it's on while stocks last, only at TJM Nailsworth and Clovelly Park. Some T's and C's apply.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey, don't get too close to the road. Wait, stop!
Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Hyundai's SUV sale is on now with 2K factory bonuses on Santa Fe. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 9. Here's one from the This Needs More Investigation file. The Robetown Brewery in the state's southeast. Imagine running a brewery in Robe. That is about the dream, I reckon. Have announced they are releasing the Holy Smokes Camel Dung Smoked Porter. Every word I read just then is absolutely accurate. Camel Dung Smoked Porter. Maris Bizatsis joins us from the Robetown Brewery. Maris, I guess the first question is why?
G'day. Well, you know, to be honest, we thought that it would bring a bit of a smile and a bit of a chuckle and a bit of a laugh, and it might be a bit of a, you know, very just wanted to use an ingredient or a method that was very interesting and strange and unusual.
Well, it's certainly a testament to the capacity to man's ability to turn anything into booze. But has it got a historic precedent, Maris? Is it something that has been done elsewhere, and you're actually picking up on an old technique?
Look, not that I know of or that I could find. However, I mean, people have been cooking with animal dung for thousands of years, and smoking food with animal dung as well. When I came up with the idea of camel dung smoked porter, partly because there's a camel farm, a camel dairy nearby us, but I came up with the idea, then I did a bit of research and found that there is a sheep dung smoked whiskey available in Iceland. So I thought, well, if they can do a whiskey with it, I'm sure it'll work with with beer.
So what role does the dung play? Is it just in the smoking? Is it just, where does it factor into the equation?
Yeah, we don't actually put the dung into the beer. However, I use.
Thank God, Maris.
Wanted to maybe play a trick on some people and say, we put it in the blender, add water, add yeast, and here we are. No, but actually, it's used as a fuel to smoke the malt. So actually, the camels here nearby, they get fed partly also with our leftover malt that we use to make beer. They also have a bit of quite a bit of hay and organic grass and all that kind of stuff. But then the dung is dried in the sun and collected and used as a fuel to smoke more malt. So malted barley is smoked in a big cold smoker that we built here at the brewery. I reckon it kind of gives a similar kind of vibe to peat smoked malt, which is a type of malt that's often used in smoky whiskies.
So there's no dung element that actually. If you're writing the tasting notes for it, how does the dung feature in it? Because it's part of the process. When I first made a little trial batch of this beer, a very small batch, just to test it out, I wanted to make sure that the flavour doesn't come out dungy, and it definitely doesn't. So when you're smelling the beer or tasting the beer, it really, if you didn't know that it was made with with dung smoked malt, then you probably wouldn't necessarily be able to pick it. It doesn't, smell of excrement or taste in that way in any way at all. It's a nice smoky beer. I mean, each kind of fuel that you use to smoke a malt can give different kind of flavours. It's quite common to use malt at breweries that might be smoked with beech wood or cherry wood or things like this, or sometimes peat. So the dung is slightly different to other smoke, but just a really pleasant smoky flavour. So is it in the shops yet for thrill seekers who want to get stuck into it, or is it something you're going to unveil it at a beer festival soon, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. It's actually I came up with the idea as a festival beer for the Gabs Festival, which is being held in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne in the next few weeks. So it's one of 120 special new beers at the festival, and we will be able to serve it and sell it to the public as soon as that festival is over, which is in the second half of June.
Well, mate, pardon now.
Yeah, we've already got it bottled and labels are being printed, and so it'll be ready soon.
Pardon our French, mate, but one of our listeners, Steve, has texted in saying gives a whole new meaning to shit-faced. There's a free marketing line for you.
Look, I can tell you it's pretty good shit, actually.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. And it sounds like a beautiful spot. I tell you what, waking up at Robe every morning going, sun's out, see the lobster boats coming in, I might go and brew some beer and then, have a few knockoffs at about 4:30. What a life. Good on you, mate. Maris.
That sounds like my day.
Yeah,
yep.
Terrific. That's great.
Maris Bizatzis from the Robetown Brewery. You can very soon sample his latest creative output. They've got a whole heap there. You can follow them on Facebook and so forth too. Robetown Brewery there in a beautiful part of South Australia.
I met a bloke called Dave at Liv. Just bumped into him while walking around, me and my son Jim, and he came over and we was having a yarn. He runs Aldinga Bay Brewing at Snapper Point, right next to Jimmy's fish shop.
Oh, wow.
And he's probably listening now. He's a mad 5AA listener, but we had a bit of a yak there, watching Cam Smith come up the 15th on the fairway, and it's a real passion project for a lot of guys.
They don't seem like they're miserable, the blokes who decide to quit everything and get into brewing.
Yeah, that's right.
I would
it's
say
pretty cutthroat business days. It's so competitive.
Well, there's so many now, aren't there?
Yeah.
Like the world of beer, when it sort of it became so centralised to the point we had basically everything owned by 2 Japanese brewing companies, and now it's almost decentralised to the point that you can have your suburbs beer.
Yeah.
Or your area, the western suburbs have got multiple breweries, so the eastern suburbs do. So does the south and north. Look, they're everywhere now. It's become so local, the whole idea of your local beer.
Yeah. See, Never Gin got bought out by...
They did.
Asahi.
Yeah.
Asahi? Was it Lion?
It was Asahi.
It was Asahi.
Yeah.
Geez, they're just rapacious, aren't they? It's like Elton John at the Boxing Day Christmas sales. Those guys would buy anything, wouldn't they?
That's all from us this morning. Matt Pantelis is coming up very, very shortly, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock.